The tale of the Midnight Swan. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by misty meadows and quiet lakes, there was a legend about a mysterious swan that only appeared at midnight. The villagers called it the Midnight Swan, and it was said that anyone who caught a glimpse of it would have a single wish granted. But the swan was elusive, and many who sought it never returned, for the forest where it dwelled was enchanted and full of secrets. In this village lived a young girl named Elara. She was known for her courage and her kind heart, always helping others and caring for the animals in the village. But Elara had a secret wish that she had never shared with anyone. Her mother had fallen ill years ago, and despite all the remedies and care, she had never recovered. Elara wished for her mother to be well again, to see her smile and hear her laughter as she once did. One evening, as Elara was tending to her chores, she overheard the village elders speaking of the Midnight Swan. They spoke of its magical powers, how it could heal the sick and grant the deepest desires of those who found it. Elara's heart leaped at the thought. If she could find the Midnight Swan, she could wish for her mother's health to be restored. That night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Elara set out on her journey. She packed a small bag with some food and a blanket, and with her lantern in hand, she ventured into the forest. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches whispering in the wind. Elara's steps were light, but her heart was heavy with hope and determination. The forest was dark and full of shadows, but Elara pressed on, guided by the faint glow of the moon. As she walked, she heard the sound of rustling leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. The air grew cooler, and the mist began to thicken around her. Elara knew she was getting closer to the enchanted part of the forest where the Midnight Swan was said to dwell. After what felt like hours, Elara came upon a small clearing bathed in silver moonlight. In the center of the clearing was a still, glassy lake that reflected the stars above. The surface of the water was so smooth that it looked like a mirror. Elara held her breath, her eyes scanning the lake for any sign of the swan. Just as the clock struck midnight, the surface of the lake began to ripple. Slowly, gracefully, the Midnight Swan emerged from the water. Its feathers were as white as snow, glowing softly in the moonlight. Its eyes were dark and wise, and as it glided across the water, it seemed to carry an air of ancient magic. Elara stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. The swan turned its gaze toward her, and for a moment, they simply looked at each other. Elara could feel the magic in the air, a tingling sensation that made her feel both excited and a little afraid. Midnight Swan, Elara called out softly, her voice trembling slightly, "I have come to ask for a wish. My mother is very ill, and I wish for her to be well again." The swan tilted its head as if considering her request. Then, it glided closer to the shore, its wings creating ripples on the surface of the lake. Elara could see the reflection of the moon in the swan's dark eyes, and she felt as though the swan was looking deep into her soul. Finally, the swan spoke, its voice like a soft breeze that carried through the night. "Your wish comes from a place of love and selflessness, young one. But know that all magic comes with a price. To heal your mother, you must give up something dear to you." Elara thought for a moment. She had very little of material value, but she was willing to give up anything if it meant her mother could be healthy again. "What must I give?" she asked. The swan's eyes softened. "You must give up your voice, Elara. In exchange for your mother's health, you will no longer be able to speak." Elara's heart sank at the thought. She loved to sing, to tell stories, and to speak with her friends and the animals she cared for. But then she thought of her mother, of how much she missed seeing her well and happy. With a deep breath, Elara nodded. "I will do it. I will give up my voice to save my mother." The swan lowered its head in acknowledgement. "Very well, Elara. Your wish shall be granted." The swan's wings began to glow with a soft, radiant light that filled the entire clearing. The light grew brighter and brighter until Elara had to close her eyes. She felt a warmth wash over her, and then a strange sensation in her throat, as if the words she wanted to speak were being gently taken away. When the light faded, Elara opened her eyes. The swan was gone, and the lake was still and quiet once more. She tried to speak, to call out, but no sound came. Her voice was gone. Ilara felt a mixture of sadness and relief. She had given up something precious, but in doing so, she had gained something even more valuable. With a heavy heart, she turned and began the journey back to her village. When Ilara arrived home, she found her mother already awake and sitting up in bed, looking healthier than she had in years. Her cheeks were rosy, and her eyes sparkled with life. Tears filled Ilara's eyes as she rushed to her mother's side, embracing her tightly. Her mother smiled and hugged her back, whispering words of love and gratitude. Though Ilara could no longer speak, the joy in her heart was enough. Her mother was well, and that was all that mattered. The village soon learned of Ilara's sacrifice, and they marveled at her bravery and selflessness. She became known as the silent hero, and though she could no longer tell her stories, her actions spoke louder than any words ever could. And so, Ilara lived happily with her mother, finding new ways to communicate through gestures and smiles. The village continued to thrive, and the legend of the Midnight Swan lived on, a reminder that true love and sacrifice could work wonders far greater than any magic. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. The Mirror of Echoes. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains touched the clouds and the rivers sparkled with stardust, there was a hidden realm known as Eldoria. Eldoria was famous for its mystical Mirror of Echoes, an enchanted mirror said to reveal not just one's reflection, but the true essence of one's heart and destiny. In Eldoria lived a kind-hearted young woman named Isolde. Isolde was known throughout the land for her wisdom and compassion. Despite her gentle nature, she felt that something important was missing in her life. She longed to discover her true purpose and the path she was meant to follow. The call of the mirror. One evening, as the full moon cast its silvery light over Eldoria, Isolde received a mysterious letter delivered by a shimmering white owl. The letter read, "To find your true path, seek the Mirror of Echoes in the Whispering Caves. There, you will discover the truth that lies within." Determined to uncover her destiny, Isolde set out for the Whispering Caves, a network of mystical caverns hidden deep within the enchanted forest. The journey was long and filled with magical creatures and ancient wonders, but Isolde's heart was steadfast. The Whispering Caves. As Isolde approached the entrance of the Whispering Caves, she was greeted by a gentle breeze that carried soft whispers. The whispers seemed to guide her deeper into the caverns, which glowed with a soft, bioluminescent light. The walls of the caves were adorned with sparkling crystals, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming nightshade flowers. Following the whispers, Isolde arrived at a grand chamber. At the center of the chamber stood the Mirror of Echoes, framed in gold and encrusted with precious gems. The mirror's surface shimmered like a calm, moonlit lake, reflecting not only the surroundings but also the emotions and thoughts of those who gazed into it. The revelation. Isolde approached the mirror with a mixture of awe and trepidation. As she looked into its surface, she saw her reflection transform into various scenes from her past and glimpses of her future. She saw herself helping others, guiding lost souls, and finding joy in simple acts of kindness. The mirror then showed her a vision of a troubled village on the brink of despair. In the vision, Isolde was seen helping the villagers, bringing hope and rebuilding their lives. The scenes revealed her true destiny, to be a beacon of light and support for those in need. The Mirror of Echoes spoke in a gentle, resonant voice, "Isolde, your heart is pure and your intentions noble. Your purpose is to bring hope and healing wherever you go. Embrace this truth and let your light shine." The journey of fulfillment. With a newfound sense of purpose, Isolde left the Whispering Caves and returned to Eldoria. She dedicated herself to helping those in need, traveling far and wide to offer support and kindness. Her presence became a source of hope and inspiration for many. Isolde's journey took her to distant lands, where she used her wisdom and compassion to resolve conflicts, heal broken hearts, and uplift communities. Her acts of kindness and generosity transformed many lives and earned her the title of the Heart of Eldoria. The legacy. Years later, Eldoria thrived as a land of peace and prosperity, all thanks to Isolde's unwavering dedication and love. The Mirror of Echoes remained in the Whispering Caves, a symbol of the wisdom and guidance it had bestowed upon Isolde. The story of Isolde and the Mirror of Echoes was passed down through generations, inspiring countless souls to follow their hearts and embrace their true purpose. Eldoria continued to shine brightly, forever blessed by the courage and compassion of one extraordinary woman. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria remained a beacon of hope and light, guided by the legacy of Isolde and the magical mirror that revealed the truth within. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the sky was always a brilliant blue and the land was covered in lush green forests, there was a magical grove known as the Enchanted Grove. The grove was a place of wonder and beauty, filled with ancient trees whose leaves sparkled like emeralds and flowers that glowed with every color of the rainbow. It was said that the grove held a special magic that kept the entire kingdom flourishing. In a small village on the edge of the Enchanted Grove lived a clever and kind-hearted fox named Finn. Finn was known throughout the village for his silver fur that shimmered in the sunlight and his knack for solving problems. Despite the village's prosperity, there was one thing that Finn longed for, a golden feather from the mythical phoenix that was said to reside deep within the grove. This feather was believed to have the power to bring even greater harmony and joy to the land. One crisp autumn morning, Finn decided it was time to seek the golden feather. He knew the journey would be challenging, as the Enchanted Grove was filled with magical creatures and hidden traps. With a heart full of hope and a satchel of supplies, Finn set out towards the grove. As he entered the Enchanted Grove, Finn was greeted by the sight of glowing flowers and the sweet sound of birds singing. The deeper he went, the more wondrous the grove became. He marveled at the giant trees with their sparkling leaves and the shimmering streams that wound through the forest. After a while, Finn encountered his first challenge, a shimmering river with waters that changed colors like a rainbow. The river was enchanted and only allowed passage to those who could answer its riddle. A voice echoed from the river, "To cross my waters, you must solve my rhyme. I am not alive, yet I grow. I don't have eyes, yet I can see. I don't have legs, yet I move. What am I?" Finn thought carefully. He remembered the glowing flowers and the gentle breeze rustling through the leaves. "The answer is light," Finn said confidently. The river's waters shimmered brightly, and a path of glowing stones appeared, leading Finn safely across. He thanked the river and continued on his way. The next challenge Finn faced was a maze of mist. The mist was thick and confusing, and it was said to trap travelers in illusions of their deepest fears. Finn took a deep breath and reminded himself of why he was on this quest. He focused on his goal and the promise of bringing more joy to his village. With determination, Finn navigated the maze by following the sound of a distant melody. The mist began to clear, and he emerged on the other side, where the forest opened up to a beautiful, moonlit glade. In the center of the glade stood a magnificent tree with golden leaves. Perched atop a branch was the phoenix, its feathers glowing with a warm, golden light. The phoenix watched Finn with curious eyes. "Welcome, brave fox," the phoenix said in a voice like soft chimes. "You have overcome the challenges of the grove. What brings you to my domain?" Finn bowed respectfully. "Great Phoenix, I seek a golden feather to bring even greater harmony to my village. I hope to use it to help those in need and spread joy." The phoenix's eyes sparkled with warmth. "Your heart is pure, and your intentions are noble. I will grant you one golden feather, but remember, it must be used wisely and with kindness." The phoenix plucked a golden feather from its plumage and gently placed it in Finn's paws. Finn thanked the phoenix and made his way back to the village, carrying the precious feather with great care. Upon his return, Finn was greeted with astonished and joyful faces. He shared the tale of his journey and the golden feather with the villagers. The feather's magic spread through the village, bringing a new wave of prosperity and joy. The flowers bloomed more vibrantly, the streams flowed more gracefully, and the air was filled with an even sweeter melody. Finn's bravery and kindness had not only brought the golden feather but had also shown the villagers the power of hope and determination. The village celebrated with a grand festival, honoring Finn and the magic of the Enchanted Grove. And so, under the shimmering leaves of the Enchanted Grove and the bright, golden light of the phoenix's feather, the kingdom thrived. Finn's tale became a beloved story, reminding everyone of the magic that lies within the heart and the joy that comes from helping others. The Moonstone Princess. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between towering mountains and a sparkling sea, there was a realm called Lyria. Lyria was renowned for its breathtaking beauty and its most precious treasure, the Moonstone, a mystical gem that held the power to bring peace and prosperity to the land. The Moonstone was kept in the Grand Palace, guarded by the wise and gentle Queen Seraphina and her kind-hearted daughter, Princess Alara. Princess Alara had always been fascinated by the Moonstone and the ancient legends surrounding it. The story spoke of its ability to grant one wish every century, a wish that could shape the future of Lyria. As the time approached for the Moonstone's magic to be used once more, Alara felt a deep longing to help her people in a way that went beyond her royal duties. The call of the Moonstone. One starry night, as the Moonstone glowed with an otherworldly light, Alara heard a soft, melodious voice calling her name. She followed the voice to the Moonstone chamber, where she saw a vision of a golden-haired fairy hovering above the gem. The fairy spoke, "Princess Alara, the Moonstone's power is great, but it must be used wisely. A hidden threat looms over Lyria, and only a heart full of courage and compassion can reveal the true path to save your kingdom. Seek the moon's echo and uncover the truth." The quest begins. Determined to protect her kingdom, Alara set out on a quest to find the moon's echo. The fairy had hinted that it lay hidden in the Whispering Woods, a mystical forest known for its elusive and magical creatures. Alara ventured into the Whispering Woods, guided by the soft glow of the moonstone she carried. The forest was alive with whispers and shimmering lights, and the path was illuminated by delicate, glowing mushrooms. As she journeyed deeper, Alara encountered 3 enchanted animals, a wise old owl, a mischievous fox, and a gentle deer. Each animal offered her a piece of advice. The owl spoke of hidden dangers, the fox of cunning deceptions, and the deer of the importance of staying true to her heart. Armed with their guidance, Alara pressed on. The moon's echo. After hours of navigating through the forest, Alara reached a secluded glen bathed in moonlight. At the center of the glen was a crystalline pool that shimmered like liquid silver. The moonstone began to glow brightly, and Alara realized that the moon's echo was the reflection of the moonstone in the pool. As Alara peered into the water, she saw a vision of a dark figure planning to seize the moonstone and use its power for nefarious purposes. The figure was a sorcerer named Malakar, who had been hiding in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. A plan unfolds. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Alara knew she had to act quickly. She returned to the palace with the knowledge of the sorcerer's plan and devised a strategy to protect the moonstone. Alara and her mother, Queen Seraphina, organized a grand celebration to distract the sorcerer. The festival was filled with music, dancing, and joy, drawing the attention of all the kingdom's inhabitants. Meanwhile, Alara and a few trusted allies secretly prepared a hidden chamber beneath the palace to safeguard the moonstone. The sorcerer's defeat. As Malakar arrived at the palace, he was lured by the festivities. Disguised as a jester, he made his way through the crowd, seeking the moonstone. However, Alara's plan worked flawlessly. With the help of her allies, she revealed Malakar's true identity and exposed his wicked intentions. A fierce battle ensued, but Alara's courage and the strength of her allies proved formidable. With a final, decisive effort, they managed to defeat Malakar and secure the moonstone. A new dawn. With the kingdom safe and the moonstone protected, Alara and Queen Seraphina were celebrated as heroes. The moonstone's magic had been preserved, and the kingdom of Lyria flourished with renewed hope and prosperity. Alara's bravery and wisdom became legendary, and she was remembered not just as a princess but as a protector of her people. The moonstone continued to shine brightly, a symbol of the courage and compassion that had saved the kingdom. And so, Lyria thrived under the watchful glow of the moonstone, forever guided by the light of a princess who had embraced her destiny and protected her realm with a heart full of love. Once upon a time, in a land where magic was as common as the wind, there was a kingdom surrounded by a vast and ancient forest. This forest was known as the Forgotten Forest, for it had been abandoned by the people of the kingdom many years ago. Legends told of strange creatures and hidden treasures deep within its heart, but the villagers feared the forest, believing it to be cursed. In a small village on the edge of the kingdom lived a boy named Finn. Unlike the others, Finn had always been fascinated by the stories of the Forgotten Forest. While the villagers warned him to stay away, Finn couldn't help but feel drawn to the mysterious woods. He spent hours reading old books about the forest's history and dreaming of the adventures that might await him there. One day, as Finn was exploring the edge of the forest, he found an old, crumbling map tucked inside the hollow of a tree. The map was worn and faded, but it clearly showed a path leading deep into the forest to a place marked with a golden star. Intrigued, Finn knew this was his chance to explore the forest and uncover its secrets. Early the next morning, Finn set out on his adventure. He packed a small bag with food, water, and a lantern, and carried the map close to his heart. The villagers watched him go with a mixture of curiosity and fear, but Finn was determined. He followed the path on the map, the dense trees of the Forgotten Forest closing in around him as he walked. The forest was quiet, almost eerily so, and the air was thick with the scent of moss and earth. As Finn ventured deeper, he began to notice things that seemed out of place: flowers that glowed softly in the shadows, trees that twisted into strange shapes, and streams that bubbled with a golden hue. But Finn wasn't afraid. He felt a sense of wonder and excitement, as if the forest was welcoming him. After hours of walking, Finn came upon a clearing where a large, ancient oak tree stood. Its bark was covered in runes, and its roots stretched deep into the ground like the fingers of a giant. In front of the tree was a stone pedestal, and on the pedestal sat a small, ornate box made of silver and gold. Finn knew this must be the treasure the map had led him to. As Finn reached out to touch the box, a soft voice echoed through the clearing. "Who dares to enter the heart of the Forgotten Forest?" Startled, Finn looked around, but saw no one. "I am Finn," he called out, "a boy from the village. I mean no harm. I've come to explore the forest and discover its secrets." The air shimmered, and suddenly, standing before him was a figure made of light, a beautiful, ethereal being with flowing hair and eyes that sparkled like the stars. Finn realized that this was a forest spirit, one of the ancient guardians of the Forgotten Forest. "You have a brave heart, young Finn," the spirit said, her voice as soft as a breeze. "This forest has been forgotten by the people of your kingdom, but it is still full of life and magic. The box you see before you is not just any treasure, it is the heart of the forest. It holds the magic that sustains this land. But long ago, the villagers feared this power and abandoned the forest, leaving it to wither and fade." Finn listened intently, his curiosity growing. Why did they fear it? And what will happen if the heart of the forest is not protected? The villagers did not understand the magic, the spirit explained. They thought it dangerous, and so they turned their backs on it. Without the care of those who live near it, the magic has weakened, and the forest has begun to fade. If the heart is not protected and nurtured, the forest will disappear entirely, and with it, the magic that once brought life to this kingdom. Finn felt a pang of sadness. He couldn't imagine a world without the wonders of the forest. "Is there anything I can do to help?" he asked, determined to save the forest. The spirit smiled, her light growing warmer. "You have already taken the first step by entering the forest without fear. To restore the heart of the forest, you must return to your village and convince the people to embrace the magic once more. The heart cannot survive on its own, it needs the love and care of those who live nearby. Only then will the forest thrive again." Finn nodded, understanding the importance of the task before him. He carefully took the box from the pedestal, feeling its warmth in his hands. "I will do everything I can to protect the heart and restore the forest," he promised. With the box in his hands, Finn made his way back through the forest. As he walked, the trees seemed to part before him, guiding him safely back to the village. When he emerged from the woods, the villagers were waiting, their faces filled with surprise and awe. Finn held up the box for all to see. "This is the heart of the forest," he announced. "It holds the magic that once made our land flourish. We must no longer fear the forest, but embrace it and care for it. Only then can we save our home and ensure that the magic of the forest lives on." The villagers listened to Finn's words, and one by one, they began to understand. They had forgotten the importance of the forest, but now, Seeing the heart of the forest in Finn's hands, they knew they could no longer turn their backs on it. Led by Finn, the villagers returned to the forest, bringing with them tools to tend to the trees, seeds to plant new life, and their renewed belief in the magic that had once been their pride. As they worked together, the forest began to change. The trees grew taller and stronger, the flowers bloomed brighter, and the streams flowed with fresh, clear water. And at the heart of it all, the ancient oak tree stood tall, its roots entwined with the magic of the land, protected by the love and care of the people. In time, the forgotten forest became known as the Enchanted Forest, a place where magic and nature thrived in harmony. The villagers no longer feared the forest, but cherished it as a source of life and wonder. As for Finn, he grew into a wise and respected leader, always reminding the people of the importance of their bond with the forest. The heart of the forest remained safe, and with it, the magic of the kingdom continued to flourish for generations to come. And so, the Enchanted Forest lived on, a symbol of the power of understanding, courage, and the deep connection between people and nature. The end.
Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled in a valley surrounded by rolling hills, there lived a lonely shepherd named Finn. Finn spent his days tending to his flock of sheep, guiding them through the meadows and up the hillsides. Though he loved his sheep and the beautiful landscape, Finn often felt a deep loneliness, for he had no one to share his thoughts and dreams with. Each night, after securing his flock, Finn would sit atop a hill and gaze at the stars. The night sky, with its countless twinkling lights, was his only solace. He would make wishes upon the stars, hoping for a friend to share his life with. One night, as Finn sat under the starry sky, he noticed a particularly bright star. As he watched, the star grew larger and brighter, and to his amazement, it began to fall from the sky. The star streaked across the heavens and landed in a nearby meadow with a soft glow. Curious and excited, Finn hurried to the meadow to see the fallen star. When he arrived, he found a small, shimmering figure lying in the grass. It was a tiny, radiant fairy, her wings sparkling with the light of 1,000 stars. She looked up at Finn with kind, twinkling eyes. "Thank you for finding me," the fairy said in a melodic voice. "I am Stella, a star fairy. I fell from the sky while granting wishes, and now I need help to return home." Finn, overjoyed to have found a friend, eagerly offered to help Stella. "I'll do whatever it takes to help you get back to the stars," he promised. Stella smiled and explained that to return to the sky, she needed to gather the light of 3 magical objects: the moonflower, the crystal spring, and the phoenix feather. And so, Finn and Stella set off on their adventure. Stella rode on Finn's shoulder, her tiny wings glowing softly. They traveled through the village and into the forest, where their first quest awaited. Deep in the forest, they came upon a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing grew the moonflower, a rare and magical plant that only bloomed under the light of a full moon. Its petals glowed with a silvery light, and its scent was sweet and calming. As Finn approached the flower, a soft voice echoed through the clearing. "Who dares to take the moonflower?" It was the guardian of the forest, an ancient tree spirit named Eldon. Finn explained their quest and promised to take only one petal to help his friend. Eldon, moved by Finn's kindness and sincerity, allowed them to take a single petal from the moonflower. With the first piece of their quest complete, Finn and Stella continued on their journey. Next, they traveled to the Crystal Spring, a hidden waterfall that flowed with sparkling, magical water. The spring was guarded by a water nymph named Nya, who was known for her beauty and wisdom. When Finn and Stella arrived, Nya emerged from the water, her hair shimmering like liquid silver. She listened to their story and agreed to help, but she warned them that the spring's magic was fragile and must be respected. Nya gave them a vial filled with the crystal clear water. "Use it wisely," she said. "Its magic is powerful but delicate." Grateful for her help, Finn and Stella thanked Nya and set off to find the final magical object. Their last destination was the peak of a distant mountain, home to the legendary phoenix. The journey was long and arduous, but Finn and Stella persevered, driven by their determination to complete their quest. At the summit, they found the phoenix, a magnificent bird with feathers of fiery gold and crimson. The phoenix, wise and majestic, listened to their plea. "To help you, I will give you one of my feathers," it said. "But remember, true strength lies in kindness and friendship." The phoenix shed a single feather, glowing with intense heat and light. Finn and Stella thanked the phoenix and made their way back to the meadow where Stella had fallen. Back at the meadow, under the starry sky, Stella combined the moonflower petal, the crystal spring water, and the phoenix feather. As she did, a radiant light enveloped her, growing brighter and brighter until it lit up the entire meadow. "Thank you, Finn," Stella said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You have given me the light I need to return home." With a final, sparkling smile, Stella ascended into the sky, her light merging with the stars. As Finn watched Stella return to her home among the stars, he felt a warmth in his heart. Though he was once again alone in the meadow, he no longer felt lonely. Stella had given him the greatest gift of all, the gift of friendship. From that night on, whenever Finn looked up at the stars, he saw Stella's bright light shining down on him, reminding him of their adventure and the bond they had formed. And in the village of Meadow Brook, the story of Finn and the Star Fairy became a cherished legend, a tale of courage, kindness, and the magic of true friendship.
Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in a valley surrounded by misty mountains, lived a curious and kind-hearted girl named Mira. This village was known for its enchanting night skies, where stars seemed to dance and twinkle more brightly than anywhere else. One evening, as the village prepared for its annual star festival, a sudden, mysterious darkness fell over the valley. The stars, usually so bright, were hidden behind a thick, swirling fog. The villagers were worried, for they believed that the stars were responsible for bringing light and good fortune to their lives. In the center of the village stood an ancient oak tree, beneath which was placed an ornate lantern said to be blessed by the stars themselves. This lantern was traditionally lit during the festival to guide lost spirits and bring hope. But now, with the fog obscuring everything, the lantern remained dark. Mira, determined to restore the village's light, decided to embark on a quest to find out why the stars had disappeared. With a heart full of bravery and a small, enchanted map passed down through generations, she set off into the darkened forest that lay beyond the village. As Mira ventured into the forest, the fog seemed to thicken, and shadows danced ominously around her. But Mira pressed on, guided by her map, which glowed faintly in the darkness. After a while, she came across an old, weathered stone archway covered in ivy. The map indicated that this was the entrance to the Forgotten Grove, a place known only in legends. Through the archway, Mira entered the Forgotten Grove, a magical glen where the trees were adorned with shimmering leaves and the air was filled with a sweet, melodic hum. At the center of the grove stood a majestic, silver tree with a canopy that sparkled like stardust. At the base of the silver tree, Mira encountered an old, wise fairy named Leora. Leora had wings like gossamer and eyes that twinkled with ancient wisdom. "Welcome, brave one," Leora said. "The stars have hidden themselves because their light was stolen by a shadowy creature that thrives on darkness." Leora explained that the creature, known as the Umbral Wisp, had taken the light of the stars to feed its own dark magic. To retrieve the light, Mira would need to find the Umbral Wisp's lair and solve a series of riddles it had set to protect its stolen treasure. Mira thanked Leora and followed the directions given to her. The path led her through the enchanted river, where she had to cross using a series of stepping stones that seemed to appear and disappear in the shimmering water. A voice from the river challenged her with a riddle. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" After thinking carefully, Mira answered, "A joke." The stepping stones solidified, and she crossed the river safely. Next, Mira entered a cavern illuminated by an eerie, green glow. Inside, the walls were covered in ancient runes, and in the center of the cavern floated a glowing crystal orb. As Mira approached, she was met by the Umbral Wisp itself, a shadowy figure with piercing eyes. "Only those who understand the true meaning of light can retrieve it," the Umbral Wisp declared. It presented Mira with another riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Mira pondered the riddle and then answered confidently, a flame. The umbral wisp's eyes flickered, and the cavern's green glow began to fade. The creature, realizing that Mira had understood the true nature of light and darkness, reluctantly released the stolen light. The crystal orb's glow intensified, and the star's light was restored to the sky, dispersing the fog that had blanketed the village. Mira thanked the umbral wisp for returning the light and made her way back to the village with the orb. As Mira approached the village, the once hidden stars began to shine brightly again. The lantern beneath the ancient oak tree illuminated with a golden glow, casting light and warmth over the entire valley. The villagers cheered and celebrated, their spirits lifted by the return of the stars. That night, the Star Festival was more magical than ever, with the stars shining down like a blanket of diamonds. Mira was hailed as a hero, and the village continued to celebrate the beauty and magic of the night sky. Mira's bravery and kindness became a cherished story, inspiring future generations to believe in the power of light, courage, and the beauty of the stars. Once upon a time, on a rugged coast where the sea met the land with a mighty roar, there stood a lighthouse unlike any other. This lighthouse was known as the Enchanted Lighthouse, and it was said to have magical powers that could guide lost sailors safely to shore and grant one true wish to anyone who proved themselves worthy. In a quaint village nearby, there lived a young girl named Clara. Clara had a heart full of dreams and a spirit of adventure. She loved to listen to the tales of the Enchanted Lighthouse and often wondered about the magical wish it was said to grant. Her father was a fisherman, and their family struggled to make ends meet. Clara's greatest wish was to bring prosperity and joy to her family and village. One stormy night, a fierce tempest struck the coast. The winds howled, and the waves crashed violently against the shore. Clara's father and other fishermen were out at sea, battling the storm to return home. The lighthouse, usually a beacon of hope, seemed to be shrouded in darkness as the storm raged on. Determined to save her father and the other fishermen, Clara decided she would visit the Enchanted Lighthouse and seek its magic to guide the sailors safely back. With a brave heart and a lantern in hand, she set out into the stormy night. The journey to the lighthouse. As Clara approached the lighthouse, the storm seemed to grow fiercer. Lightning flashed, illuminating the towering structure, and the wind howled with a voice of its own. Despite the harsh weather, Clara pressed on, her determination unwavering. When she reached the lighthouse, she found the door locked and covered in magical symbols. Clara took a deep breath and touched the symbols, trying to remember the tales she had heard about the lighthouse's magic. The stories spoke of a challenge that needed to be met with courage and a pure heart. A soft, ethereal voice echoed from the lighthouse. To enter, you must solve the riddle of the storm. Only then will the magic be revealed. The voice spoke a riddle that seemed to blend with the howling wind. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but I need water to live. What am I? Clara thought deeply as the storm continued its fury. Her mind raced through the riddles she had heard in her childhood. Finally, she realized the answer. A cloud, she called out. The lighthouse door creaked open, and Clara stepped inside. The interior was warm and glowing, filled with shimmering lights that danced like stars. Inside the lighthouse, the inside of the lighthouse was filled with magical objects and glowing orbs. In the center stood a grand, ancient book that seemed to radiate a soft light. Clara approached the book, which opened on its own, revealing a page with a simple request: make your wish. Clara looked at the book and closed her eyes. She thought of her family, the struggling villagers, and the storm that threatened their lives. I wish for the storm to end, for the safety of my father and the fishermen, and for prosperity to return to our village, she whispered. As she spoke her wish, a brilliant light filled the lighthouse, and the storm outside began to calm. The rain softened, the wind eased, and the dark clouds began to clear. The lighthouse's beam shone brightly, cutting through the storm and guiding the fishermen safely back to shore. When Clara returned to the village, she found the storm had passed, and the villagers were celebrating the safe return of the fishermen. Her father, tired but safe, embraced Clara with relief and pride. The village was alive with joy, and the once ravaged land began to show signs of new growth. Clara's wish had not only saved the fishermen but had also brought a bountiful harvest to the village. The crops thrived, the fish were plentiful, and the village's fortunes turned around. Clara's bravery and selflessness had made a profound difference. A new legend, the tale of Clara's bravery, spread throughout the land. The enchanted lighthouse became a symbol of hope and courage, and its story was told to inspire others. The villagers thrived, and Clara grew up to be a wise and beloved leader, always remembered for her unwavering heart and her act of true selflessness. The lighthouse continued to stand tall, its light shining brightly over the coast, a beacon for lost souls and a reminder of the magic that lives within the heart of those who dare to dream and act with courage. And so, the village lived in peace and prosperity, guided by the light of the enchanted lighthouse and the legacy of Clara's brave heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a serene valley bordered by rolling hills and lush forests, lay a charming village called Starhaven. Starhaven was renowned for its breathtaking moonlit meadow, a place where flowers glowed softly under the moonlight, creating a magical and enchanting scene each night. In this village lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was known for her kindness and her love for the moonlit meadow. Every evening, she would visit the meadow to help the glowing flowers bloom and to listen to the stories whispered by the gentle breeze. Her greatest wish was to protect the meadow's magic and ensure it remained a place of wonder and peace. One day, as the full moon approached, a mysterious fog began to creep into the valley. The once vibrant flowers in the moonlit meadow began to wilt, and the magical glow that had always been so bright started to fade. Elara was deeply worried. She knew something was wrong. Determined to save the moonlit meadow, Elara set off on a quest to find the source of the fog. She packed a small bag with essentials, including a lantern, a map, and a few snacks, and set out into the foggy night. Her loyal dog, Max, followed closely by her side. As they ventured through the forest, the fog grew thicker, and the trees loomed ominously. Elara and Max soon came across an old, twisted tree with a door carved into its trunk. The door was slightly ajar, and a soft light flickered from within. Curious and brave, Elara pushed the door open and entered the hollow tree. Inside, she found a cozy room lit by lanterns and filled with magical trinkets. Sitting at a wooden table was a kindly old wizard named Alden, who was busy mixing potions. "Welcome, Elara," Alden said with a warm smile. "I've been expecting you." Elara was surprised. "You know my name?" Alden nodded. "Yes, the magic of the moonlit meadow has reached me. The fog that has covered your village is the work of a mischievous spirit who seeks to steal the meadow's magic for herself. Her name is Lysandra." Elara's heart sank. "How can we stop her?" Alden handed Elara a small, silver pendant. "This pendant holds the power to reveal the true intentions of anyone who wears it. Use it to find Lysandra and convince her to restore the meadow's magic." Thanking Alden, Elara and Max left the tree and continued their journey. With the pendant in hand, they followed the trail of fog through the forest. After a while, they arrived at a hidden glade where Lysandra, a shadowy figure with twinkling eyes, was attempting to harness the meadow's magic. Lysandra was startled to see Elara and Max. "What are you doing here?" she demanded. Elara stepped forward, holding the pendant. "I'm here to ask you to return the magic of the moonlit meadow. It's a special place for everyone in our village, and it needs its light to stay alive." Lysandra hesitated, looking at the pendant. The magic within it revealed her true feelings. She was not truly wicked but rather lonely and seeking attention. "I didn't mean to harm anyone," Lysandra admitted. "I only wanted to share the magic with myself, feeling forgotten and unappreciated." Elara's heart softened. "You don't have to take the magic away. You can be a part of it and help us protect it." Touched by Elara's kindness, Lysandra agreed. Together, they worked to clear the fog and restore the meadow's glow. Lysandra used her magic to bring back the vibrant flowers and enhance the meadow's beauty. As the moonlight bathed the meadow once more, the flowers bloomed brightly, and the glow returned, more magnificent than ever. The villagers of Starhaven celebrated the restoration of their beloved meadow, and Lysandra was welcomed with open arms. From that day forward, Lysandra became a guardian of the moonlit meadow, working alongside Alara and the villagers to keep the magic alive. The meadow flourished, and the bond between the villagers and the spirit grew strong. Alara's bravery and compassion had not only saved the moonlit meadow but also brought a new friend into their lives. And so, Starhaven continued to shine under the light of the full moon, a place of wonder, unity, and enduring magic. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there was a tiny village known for its breathtaking night skies. Each evening, the villagers would gather to watch the stars twinkle and dance in the sky, filling their hearts with wonder. The most enchanting legend of all was the tale of the Lantern of Stars, a magical lantern said to be able to capture the light of the stars and grant one wish to anyone who could find it. In this village lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her boundless curiosity and love of the night sky. Every night, she would gaze up at the stars and dream of discovering the Lantern of Stars. Her dreams weren't just about making a wish for herself, but rather using the lantern's magic to help her village, which had recently suffered from a series of unfortunate events that left the fields barren and the river running dry. One crisp autumn evening, Lyra decided it was time to embark on a quest to find the Lantern of Stars and restore hope to her village. The first challenge, the Whispering Forest. Lyra's journey began in the Whispering Forest, a mystical place where the trees seemed to speak in hushed tones and the leaves rustled with secrets. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she came across an ancient oak tree with a face carved into its trunk. To pass through the Whispering Forest, the tree said in a voice as old as time, "You must solve this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but not go outside." What am I? Lyra thought for a moment and answered, "A piano." The ancient oak tree's eyes sparkled with approval, and it parted its branches to reveal a hidden path. "Follow this path to continue your quest," the tree advised. The second challenge, the River of Reflections. Lyra followed the path and soon reached the River of Reflections, a serene river with water so clear it mirrored the sky perfectly. The river was guarded by a graceful swan whose feathers glistened like moonlight. To cross the River of Reflections, the swan said in a melodious voice, "You must answer this question. The more you take, the more you leave behind." What am I? Lyra pondered the question and replied, "Footsteps." The swan's eyes shone with delight, and it flapped its wings, creating a bridge of sparkling water lilies across the river. Lyra carefully crossed the bridge, her heart filled with hope. The third challenge, the Cave of Echoes. On the other side of the river, Lyra arrived at the entrance of the Cave of Echoes, a grand cavern where the walls seemed to hum with a soft, resonant melody. At the entrance stood a large, ornate door with intricate star patterns. A gentle voice echoed from within the cave, "To unlock this door and find the Lantern of Stars, you must reveal your true heart. Share your deepest wish and prove that you seek it with sincerity." Lyra took a deep breath and spoke with honesty, "My deepest wish is to find the Lantern of Stars and use its magic to bring prosperity and joy back to my village. I want to help my people and restore the land that has suffered." The cave's walls began to glow with a warm, golden light, and the ancient door slowly creaked open, revealing a chamber bathed in a soft, celestial light. In the center of the chamber stood the Lantern of Stars, its surface shimmering with the light of countless stars. The revelation, the lantern's gift. With the Lantern of Stars in her hands, Lyra returned to her village. As she held the lantern up to the night sky, its light began to shine brightly, sending a cascade of starry beams across the land. The barren fields turned lush and green, the river flowed with crystal-clear water, and a sense of joy and prosperity returned to the village. The villagers gathered around Lyra, amazed by the transformation. They celebrated her bravery and the magic of the Lantern of Stars, grateful for the return of their land's abundance and happiness. The tale of Lyra's quest and the Lantern of Stars became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of hope, courage, and the magic that lies within the heart of those who seek to bring light and joy to others. Under the twinkling stars and the magic of the lantern, the village thrived once more, forever grateful for the girl who had restored their dreams and their land. Once upon a time, in the charming village of Evergreen, nestled at the edge of a vast, whispering forest, there lived a young girl named Clara. Clara was known throughout the village for her bright spirit and her love for the night sky. She often spent her evenings gazing up at the stars, dreaming of far-off lands and adventures. One crisp autumn evening, as Clara was exploring the attic of her grandmother's old house, she discovered an antique lantern covered in dust. It was a beautiful lantern, adorned with intricate carvings of stars and moons, and it had a small, glowing crystal at its center. Curious, Clara decided to clean it up and see if it still worked. As soon as Clara polished the lantern, the crystal began to glow with a soft, golden light. The lantern flickered to life, casting a warm, inviting glow throughout the attic. Clara was amazed and decided to take the lantern outside to see what it might reveal. That night, the moon was full and bright, casting its silvery light over the village. Clara carried the lantern into the forest, following a path she had never taken before. As she walked deeper into the woods, the lantern's glow grew brighter, illuminating a trail of shimmering lights that seemed to guide her way. Following the magical lights, Clara arrived at a hidden glen surrounded by towering trees and bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glen was a small, enchanted pond with water as clear as crystal. At the edge of the pond was a tiny, ancient stone archway that seemed to sparkle with a magical aura. The lantern's light grew even more brilliant as Clara approached the archway. As she stepped through it, she found herself in a mystical realm, unlike anything she had ever seen. The sky was a swirl of deep blues and purples, and the land was filled with glowing flowers and sparkling trees. At the center of this magical realm was a grand castle made entirely of shimmering moonstone. In the castle's courtyard, Clara saw a regal figure, a kind-faced fairy queen with wings that glittered like stardust. The fairy queen welcomed Clara with a warm smile and explained that the lantern she had discovered was a magical artifact known as the Star Lantern. It was said to hold the power to reveal hidden places and guide those who sought to restore balance to the magical realm. The fairy queen explained that the realm had been cast into darkness by a powerful spell, and the only way to lift the spell was to find and return the missing moonstone, a gem of great power that had been stolen by a rogue sorcerer. The sorcerer had hidden the moonstone in a maze of illusions, and no one had been able to retrieve it. Determined to help, Clara accepted the challenge and set out to find the moonstone. Guided by the Star Lantern's light, she ventured into the maze. The maze was filled with confusing paths, magical traps, and illusions that tested her courage and wit. As Clara navigated the maze, she encountered various creatures who needed her help. She freed a trapped fire sprite, mended a broken wing of a fairy, and solved riddles that revealed hidden pathways. Each act of kindness and bravery brought her closer to the heart of the maze. Finally, Clara reached the center of the maze, where the rogue sorcerer was guarding the moonstone. The sorcerer was surprised to see a young girl with such determination and courage. Clara bravely faced the sorcerer and spoke from her heart, explaining how the realm's darkness had affected everyone and how she wanted to help restore the light. The sorcerer, moved by Clara's sincerity, realized the error of his ways and willingly returned the moonstone. With the moonstone in hand, Clara made her way back to the Fairy Queen's castle. As Clara placed the moonstone in its rightful place, the magical realm was bathed in a brilliant, rejuvenating light. The darkness lifted, and the land was once again filled with vibrant colors and enchanting beauty. The Fairy Queen and the magical inhabitants celebrated Clara's bravery and kindness with a grand feast and a magnificent display of fireworks that lit up the sky. As a token of their gratitude, the Fairy Queen gifted Clara a small, enchanted veil filled with moonlight, which would allow her to visit the magical realm whenever she wished. With her heart full of joy and her spirit enriched by her adventure, Clara returned to her village. The Star Lantern remained a cherished memento of her journey, and she often shared her story with the villagers, reminding them of the magic that lies in kindness and bravery. And so, Clara's adventure became a beloved tale in Evergreen, and the magical realm continued to shine brightly, a testament to the power of a brave heart and the light of a true hero. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between towering mountains and lush forests, there lived a young princess named Lila. She was known far and wide for her kindness, wisdom, and beauty. Her long, golden hair shone like the sun, and her laughter was as sweet as a spring breeze. But what truly set Princess Lila apart was her voice. When she sang, the birds would stop to listen, the flowers would bloom a little brighter, and even the rivers seemed to dance to her melody. One day, as Princess Lila was walking in the royal gardens, she heard a strange sound. It was a soft, sad song carried on the wind, and it seemed to be coming from the direction of the great river. The great river was the lifeblood of the kingdom, winding its way through villages and fields, providing water and food for all who lived near it. But now, it seemed to be crying out in sorrow. Lila followed the sound until she reached the riverbank. There, she saw something that made her heart ache. The once clear waters of the great river were murky and slow, and the fish that usually swam happily in its depths were nowhere to be seen. The trees along the banks had lost their vibrant green leaves, and the air was heavy with sadness. As Lila knelt by the river, she noticed a small, shimmering figure appear in the water. It was a water sprite, a tiny, magical being who lived in the river and cared for its well-being. The sprite was crying, her tears mingling with the river's waters. "Why are you crying, little one?" Lila asked gently. The sprite looked up at her with tearful eyes. "Oh, Princess Lila, our river is dying. The magic that once flowed through it is fading, and soon it will dry up completely. Without the river, the kingdom will wither, and all who depend on it will suffer." Lila's heart filled with determination. "What can we do to save the river? There must be something." The sprite shook her head sadly. "The only way to save the river is to find the singing stone, a magical gem that lies hidden deep within the mountains. The stone's song is powerful enough to restore the river's magic, but no one has seen it for centuries. Many have tried to find it, but the journey is dangerous, and the path is filled with trials." Lila stood up, her resolve unwavering. "I will find the singing stone and save our river. Tell me where to begin, and I will set out at once." The sprite looked at Lila with hope in her eyes. "You are brave, princess. The journey will not be easy, but I believe in you. You must travel to the Mountain of Echoes, where the ancient guardian of the stone resides. He is the only one who can guide you to the stone's resting place." With the sprite's words as her guide, Lila returned to the castle and prepared for her journey. She packed a small bag with provisions, wrapped herself in a warm cloak, and set off towards the Mountain of Echoes. The people of the kingdom watched her go with admiration and fear, for they knew the dangers that lay ahead. The Mountain of Echoes. After several days of travel, Lila reached the foot of the Mountain of Echoes. The mountain was tall and imposing, with steep cliffs and narrow paths winding up its sides. As Lila began her ascent, she noticed that the air was filled with strange sounds, whispers, laughter, and even the echoes of her own footsteps. The mountain was alive with voices, some welcoming, others warning her to turn back. But Lila pressed on, her heart set on saving the river. As she climbed higher, the path became more treacherous, with loose rocks and sudden drops. But Lila was agile and sure-footed, and she made her way steadily upwards. After hours of climbing, Lila finally reached a plateau near the mountain's peak. There, she found a large cave, its entrance framed by ancient, twisted trees. The air was thick with magic, and Lila knew she had found the lair of the guardian. With a deep breath, Lila entered the cave. The darkness inside was almost complete, but as she ventured deeper, a soft glow began to illuminate the walls. The light came from crystals embedded in the stone, casting a gentle, ethereal glow. At the far end of the cave, Lila saw a figure sitting on a stone throne. The guardian was an old, wise-looking being, with long, silver hair and eyes that sparkled like the crystals around him. He was tall and imposing, but there was kindness in his gaze as he looked at Lila. "Welcome, Princess Lila," the guardian said in a voice that echoed gently through the cave. "I have been expecting you." Lila bowed respectfully. Great Guardian, I have come to seek the singing stone. The great river is dying, and without the stone's magic, our kingdom will wither away. The Guardian nodded slowly. I know of the river's plight, and I know the dangers you face. The path to the singing stone is fraught with trials, for only those with a pure heart and true courage can claim it. Are you prepared to face these trials, Princess? I am, Lila replied, her voice steady. I will do whatever it takes to save my people. The Guardian rose from his throne and held out a hand. Very well. Take this crystal, he said, handing her a small, glowing crystal. It will guide you through the darkness and protect you from the illusions that will try to lead you astray. Follow the path beyond this cave, and you will find the entrance to the Chamber of Trials. There, you must prove your worth. Lila accepted the crystal with gratitude and, after thanking the Guardian, set out once more. The path beyond the cave was dark and narrow, but the crystal's light guided her safely through. After what seemed like an eternity, she reached a large stone door, covered in ancient runes. Taking a deep breath, Lila pushed the door open and stepped into the Chamber of Trials. The Chamber of Trials was a vast, circular room with high, vaulted ceilings. The walls were covered in intricate carvings, depicting scenes of bravery and wisdom. In the center of the chamber stood 3 stone pedestals, each holding a different object. As Lila approached, a voice echoed through the chamber. Princess Lila, you must face 3 trials to prove your worth. Each trial will test a different aspect of your character. Only by succeeding in all 3 can you claim the singing stone. Lila nodded, ready to begin. The first pedestal held a golden scale, perfectly balanced. The voice spoke again, the first trial is the trial of justice. You must weigh your heart against the feather of truth. If your heart is just and pure, the scales will remain balanced. Lila placed her hand on the scale, and a soft feather appeared on the other side. The scales wavered for a moment, but then settled back into perfect balance. Lila smiled, knowing she had passed the first trial. The second pedestal held a single, glowing flower. The voice spoke again, the second trial is the trial of compassion. You must take this flower and use its magic to heal the wounds of those who suffer. Lila gently picked up the flower, and as she did, a vision appeared before her. She saw a wounded bird, its wing broken and its eyes full of pain. Without hesitation, Lila touched the flower to the bird's wing, and it began to heal. The bird chirped with joy and flew away, free and whole once more. The vision faded, and Lila knew she had passed the second trial. The third pedestal held a mirror, its surface shining like the moon. The voice spoke one last time, the final trial is the trial of courage. You must face your greatest fear and overcome it. Lila gazed into the mirror, and as she did, her reflection began to change. She saw herself standing alone in the middle of a dark, stormy sea, with waves crashing all around her. The wind howled, and the sky was filled with lightning. But Lila stood firm, her heart filled with courage. I am not afraid, she whispered, and as she spoke the words, the storm began to calm. The sea grew still, and the sky cleared. Lila's reflection smiled back at her, and the mirror returned to normal. With the third trial complete, the voice spoke once more. You have proven your worth, Princess Lila. The singing stone is yours. A hidden door in the wall opened, revealing a small chamber bathed in golden light. In the center of the chamber, resting on a velvet cushion, was the singing stone. It was a beautiful gem, shimmering with all the colors of the rainbow, and as Lila approached, she could hear its soft, melodious song. Lila carefully picked up the stone, and as she did, the chamber filled with its music. The sound was like nothing she had ever heard before, pure, joyful, and full of life. She knew that with this stone, she could save the great river. The river's return with the singing stone in hand, Lila made her way back down the mountain. The journey was quicker this time, as if the mountain itself was guiding her safely home. When she reached the foot of the mountain, she found the water sprite waiting for her by the riverbank. Princess Lila, you have returned, the sprite cried with joy. Did you find the singing stone? Lila nodded and held out the stone. I did. And now we must use its magic to restore the river. The sprite guided Lila to the center of the river, where the water was still slow and murky. Lila held the singing stone above the water and began to sing. Her voice, combined with the stone's melody, filled the air with a beautiful, powerful song. As Lila sang, the river began to change. The water cleared, turning a brilliant shade of blue. The fish returned, swimming happily in the restored waters. The trees along the banks regained their leaves, and the flowers bloomed brighter than ever before. The great river was alive once more, its magic restored. The people of the kingdom rejoiced when they saw the river's return. They gathered along the banks to celebrate, singing and dancing in gratitude for their brave princess. Lila was welcomed back as a hero, and the story of her journey spread far and wide. And so, the kingdom flourished, with the great river flowing strong and pure. Princess Lila continued to rule with wisdom and kindness, and the singing stone remained a symbol of hope and courage for generations to come. The end. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there was a magical fairground known as Celestial Park. Every night, the park sparkled with fairy lights and the laughter of children. But its most extraordinary attraction was the Starlit Carousel, a grand ride adorned with golden horses and glittering stars that twinkled as though they were alive. Legend had it that the Starlit Carousel had the power to grant one special wish each year to a child who demonstrated true bravery and kindness. However, the carousel's magic had remained dormant for many years, as no child had ever been able to unlock its secret. One evening, a young girl named Luna arrived at Celestial Park. Luna was known for her gentle nature and her unwavering courage. Her village was experiencing a series of misfortunes, crops failing, animals falling ill, and the river that supplied their water was running dry. The villagers were disheartened, and Luna, feeling their pain deeply, decided she would find a way to help. As she walked through the fairground, Luna's eyes were drawn to the Starlit Carousel. Its horses were covered in dust, and its once vibrant lights had dimmed. Determined to help her village, Luna approached the carousel and spoke softly, "I need your help to restore our village's prosperity. Please, grant my wish." To her surprise, the carousel's lights flickered and then illuminated the entire fairground. A gentle voice echoed from the carousel, "To awaken the magic, you must complete 3 tasks that will test your heart and spirit. Only then will the carousel grant your wish." Luna nodded resolutely. The carousel's first task appeared, a riddle etched in stardust on a golden plaque. It read, "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Luna thought carefully, her mind racing through the possibilities. She remembered the village's recent troubles and how important it was to find the right answer to move forward. After pondering, she whispered, "A fire." The stardust on the plaque glowed warmly, and the carousel's golden horses began to sparkle more brightly. The second task appeared, a path lined with delicate, glowing lanterns that led into a dark, enchanted forest. With her heart steady and her purpose clear, Luna walked along the path. In the forest, she encountered a lost fox cub, shivering and frightened. Despite the eerie darkness, Luna gently picked up the cub and comforted it, her warmth dispelling the fear. She followed the path until she found a hidden glade where a small, glowing crystal lay on a bed of moss. The crystal was the key to the second task. As Luna picked up the crystal, the forest brightened, and the path back to the carousel was revealed. The final task awaited her, a grand, magical gate that required the correct combination of stars to be aligned to open. Looking at the sky, Luna noticed that the stars seemed to form patterns that resembled the constellations she had studied as a child. With careful observation and intuition, she arranged the stars in the correct order. The gate creaked open, revealing the carousel's center where a small, ancient chest awaited. The chest opened to reveal a golden key. Luna took the key and returned to the carousel. As she inserted the key into the carousel's lock, a brilliant light enveloped the entire fairground. The carousel spun gracefully, its lights glowing with a radiant energy. The magic of the carousel flowed into the village, and overnight, the crops began to flourish, the animals regained their health, and the river's waters surged back to life. The next morning, Luna's village woke up to a scene of wonder. The fields were green and bountiful, the animals were lively, and the river flowed with crystal-clear water. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Luna's bravery and kindness. The starlit carousel remained a cherished part of Celestial Park, and every year, its light sparkled with renewed magic, reminding all who visited of Luna's incredible journey. And so, the village thrived, and Luna's name was remembered as the girl who brought back hope and prosperity through her pure heart and unwavering courage. And they all lived happily ever after, with the starlit carousel forever shining as a beacon of magic and possibility.
In the enchanting kingdom of Lyria, where magical creatures roamed and the sky was a canvas of ever-changing colors, there was a tale of a mystical artifact known as the Silver Star. Legend spoke of a hidden valley where this star lay, capable of granting a single wish to anyone with a heart full of hope and courage. In a small village on the edge of the kingdom lived a young girl named Alara. She had a kind heart and a deep love for her people, who had been suffering from a terrible drought that had withered their lands. Driven by her desire to help, Alara decided to find the Silver Star and make a wish to restore her village. One morning, Alara discovered an old, dusty map hidden in her grandmother's attic. The map was adorned with ancient symbols and a cryptic riddle. It was said that the map could lead to the hidden valley, but only if one could solve the riddle. The riddle read, "In the land where shadows dance and sunlight weaves a golden thread, seek the path where the heart leads, where the quiet whispers are said." Determined, Alara set off on her journey, following the directions on the map. Her path took her through lush forests, across sparkling streams, and over rolling hills. The landscape seemed to change with every step she took, as though it was alive with magic. Alara soon entered the enchanted forest, a place where the trees were said to hold secrets and the air was thick with magic. As she walked, she came across a shimmering, golden pathway leading deeper into the woods. The path seemed to glow under the canopy of ancient trees. Suddenly, a gentle voice spoke from the shadows. It was a wise old fairy named Thistle. To proceed, you must first show your heart's true intention. Answer me this: what is the greatest gift one can give? Alara thought carefully and replied, "The greatest gift is to give love and kindness freely, without expecting anything in return." Thistle smiled and waved her hand, creating a magical bridge across a wide chasm. "You have answered wisely. Proceed, and may your heart guide you." Beyond the enchanted forest, Alara faced the Mountain of Echoes, where every sound was amplified and twisted. The mountain was steep and treacherous, with echoes that could confuse even the most determined traveler. As Alara climbed, she heard the echoes of her own doubts and fears. "You cannot do this," the echoes seemed to say. But Alara remembered her purpose and pushed onward, each step resonating with her courage and hope. At the mountain's peak, she found an ancient gate covered in vines. The gate had a keyhole shaped like a star, and beside it lay a small, silver key. The key glimmered with a familiar light. Alara used the key to unlock the gate, revealing a narrow, moonlit path leading downward. The path led Alara to a hidden valley, bathed in a soft, silvery glow. The valley was surrounded by towering cliffs, and at its center was a serene lake with water that sparkled like a sea of stars. In the lake's center, on a pedestal, lay the Silver Star, radiating a gentle, soothing light. Alara approached the Silver Star and felt its warmth. A voice echoed from the star, "To make your wish, you must first understand its true meaning." Alara took a deep breath and thought of her village, her people's struggles, and her own hopes for a better future. She whispered her wish. "I wish for rain to restore the land and for my village to be saved." As Alara spoke her wish, the Silver Star's light grew brighter, and a soft rain began to fall. The rain was gentle at first, but soon it became a steady downpour, nourishing the land and filling the streams. The valley seemed to come alive with lush greenery and vibrant flowers. Alara returned to her village, finding that the rain had reached them as well. The once dry fields were now lush and green. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. The villagers rejoiced and celebrated Alara's bravery and selflessness. They marveled at the miraculous change and were grateful for the young girl who had ventured into the unknown to save them. The silver star remained in the hidden valley, a symbol of hope and the power of a pure heart. Alara's story became a cherished legend in Lyria, inspiring others to pursue their dreams and help those in need. The valley, now known as the Valley of Stars, was visited by many who sought to be inspired by its magic and the story of the girl who had wished for the good of others. And so, Alara's bravery and kindness lived on, reminding everyone that even the smallest wish, when driven by love and courage, could bring about the most wondrous change.
In a peaceful village surrounded by lush forests and sparkling streams, there was a quaint little shop known for its unique and magical items. The shop was run by an elderly woman named Granny Aloan, who was renowned for her knowledge of enchanted artifacts and her warm, caring nature. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle, a young boy named Leo entered Granny Aloan's shop. Leo was a dreamer with a heart full of wonder and curiosity. He had heard tales of a mysterious lantern that could grant one wish to the person who found it. Granny Aloan greeted Leo with a kind smile. "Good evening, young Leo. What brings you here on this fine night?" Leo's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I've heard about the enchanted lantern that can grant a wish. I want to find it and see if the stories are true." Granny Aloan's eyes twinkled with a knowing glint. "Ah, the enchanted lantern. It is a very special item indeed. But finding it is not so simple. It requires a pure heart and a willingness to help others." Leo's heart swelled with determination. "I'm ready to do whatever it takes. I want to help my village and make it a better place." Granny Aloan nodded approvingly and handed Leo a small, leather-bound book. "This book contains clues that will guide you to the lantern. Remember, it is not the wish itself but the journey and the kindness you show along the way that truly matters." Leo took the book and set off into the forest. The moon was full, casting a silvery glow over the trees. As he walked, he read the first clue from the book: to find the lantern, follow the path of the moonlight and listen to the whispers of the night. Leo followed the moonlit path, and soon he heard a faint, melodic whisper. It led him to a clearing where a family of deer was struggling to find food. Their meadow had been overtaken by thick brambles. Without hesitation, Leo used his small pocket knife to carefully clear the brambles and make a safe path for the deer. The grateful animals nuzzled him before disappearing into the forest. As Leo returned to the path, he found the next clue in the book: the lantern lies where the stars kiss the earth. Leo continued his journey, guided by the shimmering starlight. He arrived at a serene pond, its surface reflecting the starry sky like a mirror. Next to the pond, Leo found an injured fox caught in a net. The fox's eyes were filled with pain and fear. Leo gently freed the fox from the net and tended to its wounds with some herbs he had in his satchel. The fox gave a soft, thankful yip before limping away into the forest. As Leo watched it disappear, he noticed a hidden compartment in a nearby tree. Inside, there was another clue: the final test is one of the heart. Seek where the light meets the dark. Leo followed the clue to a shadowy grove where the moonlight barely reached. There, in a small, hidden alcove, he found a beautiful, ornate lantern glowing softly with a warm, golden light. Leo picked up the lantern, feeling a sense of awe and accomplishment. As he held it, the lantern's light brightened, and a gentle, ethereal voice spoke: "You have shown great kindness and selflessness on your journey. The wish you seek will be granted, but remember, it is not for you alone." Leo thought of his village and how much they needed help. With a heartfelt wish, he said, "I wish for my village to be filled with happiness and prosperity, and for everyone to work together in harmony." The lantern's light expanded and enveloped Leo in a shimmering glow. He felt a warmth spread through him, and then, just as suddenly, the light vanished. Leo returned to his village with the lantern in hand. The next day, the village experienced a miraculous transformation. The crops grew abundantly, the streams were clear and full, and a sense of joy and cooperation filled the air. The villagers were amazed and grateful, and they celebrated together, rejoicing in their newfound prosperity. Leo's selfless wish had brought true magic to his village. Granny Aloan, watching from her shop, smiled with pride. The enchanted lantern had fulfilled its purpose, not just by granting a wish but by inspiring kindness and unity. And so, the village thrived, and the tale of Leo's journey and the enchanted lantern became a cherished story passed down through generations, reminding everyone of the power of selflessness and the magic that lies in a pure heart. The end. The Lantern of Dreams. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom nestled between towering mountains and shimmering lakes, there was a charming village named Luminera. This village was famous for its breathtaking lantern festival, held each year on the eve of the winter solstice. The festival was renowned not only for its glowing lanterns that lit up the night sky but also for a magical lantern called the Lantern of Dreams. The Lantern of Dreams was said to have the power to make one heartfelt wish come true, but only to those who approached it with pure intentions and a generous heart. Every year, the lantern was displayed in the village square, waiting for the right person to make a wish. In this village lived a kind-hearted young girl named Mia. Mia was known throughout Luminera for her generosity and her beautiful songs that could soothe anyone's worries. Despite her kind nature, Mia's family struggled. Her father had lost his job as a blacksmith, and her mother was ill, leaving Mia to care for her younger brother and keep their small house in order. As the Lantern Festival approached, Mia hoped that if she could make a wish at the Lantern of Dreams, it might help her family overcome their difficulties. The festival begins on the night of the winter solstice. The village was alive with music and laughter. Lanterns of every shape and color floated gently into the night sky, creating a dazzling display of lights. In the center of the village square, the Lantern of Dreams stood proudly, its surface shimmering with a soft, golden glow. Mia watched from the sidelines, her heart full of hope. She had prepared a small basket of bread and apples, which she shared with the festival goers, ensuring that everyone had something to eat. She knew that helping others was important, and she hoped that her selfless acts would be rewarded. A chance encounter. As the night wore on, Mia found herself near the Lantern of Dreams. She was admiring its beauty when an elderly man approached her. He wore a cloak with silver thread and had a kind smile. He introduced himself as the keeper of the lantern. The keeper said, "To make a wish with the Lantern of Dreams, you must come with a heart full of kindness. Tell me, what do you wish for?" Mia hesitated, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She took a deep breath and said, "I wish for my family to be healed and for us to have enough to get by. But more than that, I wish for everyone in our village to find happiness and prosperity." The keeper's eyes sparkled with approval. "A noble wish indeed," he said. "Place your hands on the lantern and speak your wish aloud." The magic unfolds. Mia approached the Lantern of Dreams and gently placed her hands on its cool, golden surface. She closed her eyes and repeated her wish with all her heart. As she spoke, the lantern began to glow brighter, and a soft, melodic hum filled the air. The golden light from the lantern spread outwards, illuminating the entire village with a warm, comforting glow. As the light touched the village, Mia noticed something miraculous. The lantern's magic began to work. Her family's home was repaired and became warm and welcoming. Her father received a new opportunity for work, and her mother's health began to improve. The village also flourished, the fields grew abundant, and the village's trades and crafts prospered. A heartfelt celebration. The villagers were amazed at the sudden turn of events and gathered to celebrate. They threw a grand feast in honor of Mia and the magic of the Lantern of Dreams. Mia's family was surrounded by joy and gratitude, and the entire village thrived as never before. Mia's selfless wish had not only transformed her own family's fortunes but had also brought prosperity to the entire village. Her kindness and generosity were celebrated, and her story became a cherished legend in Luminera. The legacy of the lantern. From that day on, the Lantern of Dreams was more than just a magical artifact. it became a symbol of hope and kindness. The festival continued to be a joyous occasion, reminding everyone of the power of selflessness and the magic that comes from a pure heart. And so, Luminara continued to shine brightly, forever blessed by the magic of the Lantern of Dreams in the heart of one extraordinary young girl. Once upon a time, in a picturesque kingdom bordered by enchanted woods, there was a quaint village named Bramblewood. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, and their most cherished tradition was the annual Lantern Festival. Each year, they would light beautifully crafted lanterns to celebrate the bond between their world and the magical forest surrounding them. At the edge of the village lived a young girl named Mia. She was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of the forest, which she explored daily with her loyal companion, a clever fox named Finn. Mia's father was the village lantern maker, and she often helped him craft the intricate designs that would light up the sky during the festival. One autumn evening, as the Lantern Festival approached, Mia's father fell ill, leaving him unable to finish the most important lantern of the year, the Grand Lantern, which was said to bring blessings and protection to the village. Mia felt a deep sense of responsibility and wanted to ensure the lantern was ready. Her father had told her of an ancient legend that the Grand Lantern must be completed with a special light known as the Lantern of the Lost Forest. This magical light could only be found by someone pure of heart who ventured into the deepest part of the forest. Determined to save the festival and help her father, Mia set off with Finn into the heart of the forest. As they ventured deeper, the woods grew darker and more mysterious. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and strange, glowing fungi dotted the path. Their journey took them to the edge of a hidden glade, where a sparkling river flowed through the center. There, by the water's edge, they found an old, crumbling bridge leading to a small island. At the center of the island stood a grand, ancient tree with shimmering leaves, a tree from which the Lantern of the Lost Forest was said to hang. As Mia and Finn carefully crossed the bridge, they noticed a shimmering figure, an ethereal spirit of light, hovering near the tree. The spirit was gentle and serene, with eyes like pools of stardust. "Welcome, Mia," the spirit said in a voice like soft chimes. "I have been expecting you. To receive the Lantern of the Lost Forest, you must first prove your worth." The spirit then revealed 3 trials, each designed to test Mia's courage, wisdom, and kindness. The first trial was to cross a treacherous river filled with swirling, magical currents. Mia used her wits and fashioned a makeshift raft from vines and fallen branches, allowing herself and Finn to safely cross. The second trial was to solve a riddle posed by a wise old owl perched high in the tree's branches. The riddle was, "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Mia thought deeply and answered, "A map." The owl hooted with approval and granted them passage to the final trial. For the third trial, Mia had to demonstrate her kindness. She came across a wounded fawn struggling to walk. Without hesitation, Mia and Finn carefully tended to the fawn's injury, using herbs and gentle care to heal it. The fawn, now strong and lively, nuzzled Mia in gratitude. With the final trial complete, the spirit of light appeared once more and smiled warmly. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and kindness. You are worthy of the Lantern of the Lost Forest." The spirit led Mia and Finn to a hidden alcove where the lantern, glowing with a soft, golden light, was suspended from a branch. Mia carefully took the lantern, and its light seemed to grow brighter with each step they took, guiding them back to Bramblewood. Upon their return, the villagers were overjoyed to see Mia with the Grand Lantern completed and the Lantern of the Lost Forest. As night fell and the festival began, Mia and Finn placed the lantern in its special place, where it bathed the village in a warm, protective glow. The lantern's light seemed to weave through the air, creating patterns of hope and joy. The Lantern Festival was the most magnificent one Bramblewood had ever seen. The light from the Grand Lantern, enriched by the magic of the Lantern of the Lost Forest, filled every corner of the village with a sense of wonder and unity. Mia's father, though still recovering, was deeply touched by his daughter's bravery and the love shown by the villagers. And so, the legend of the Lantern of the Lost Forest was celebrated year after year, reminding the villagers of the power of courage, wisdom, and kindness. Mia's adventure became a beloved tale, passed down through generations, inspiring all who heard it to seek the light within their own hearts. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where mountains kissed the sky and rivers sparkled like diamonds, there was a hidden village known as Cogsworth. This village was famous for its extraordinary garden, an enchanting place where mechanical flowers bloomed and clockwork creatures danced among the petals. In this village lived a young inventor named Iris. Iris was known for her curious mind and nimble fingers. She spent her days tinkering in her workshop, creating intricate gadgets and gizmos. Her most treasured possession was a tiny, silver key that had been passed down through generations in her family. It was said to unlock something magical, but no one knew what. One morning, as Iris was adjusting the gears on a delicate wind-up butterfly, she noticed something unusual, a small, mysterious envelope on her workbench. It was sealed with a wax stamp bearing an emblem she didn't recognize, a star entwined with delicate clockwork gears. Inside the envelope was a note written in elegant script, "Dear Iris, the time has come for you to discover the secret of the clockwork garden. Follow the path of golden petals at dusk, and you shall unlock a treasure of great wonder. Sincerely, a friend from afar." Intrigued and excited, Iris decided to follow the instructions. As the sun began to set, she made her way to the garden, where golden petals started to glow softly in the fading light. The path they created led her to a hidden gate made of intertwining vines and ornate gears. With a deep breath, Iris took out her silver key and approached the gate. She inserted the key into a small keyhole hidden among the gears and turned it. With a soft click, the gate creaked open, revealing a garden even more magnificent than she had ever imagined. The clockwork garden was a realm of wonders. Flowers with petals of brass and copper swayed gently in the breeze, their movements synchronized with the ticking of tiny clockwork bees. Mechanical birds with wings of iridescent metal sang melodies that harmonized with the rustling leaves. In the center of the garden stood a grand clock tower, its face shimmering with jewels and its hands ticking rhythmically. As Iris wandered through the garden, she noticed a small, golden chest nestled among the roots of a giant, clockwork tree. The chest had a keyhole that matched the silver key she held. With a mix of excitement and anticipation, Iris unlocked the chest. Inside, she found an intricate music box. Its exterior was adorned with delicate engravings, and a tiny ballerina spun gracefully inside. As Iris turned the crank, a beautiful, soft melody filled the air, weaving through the garden and making the flowers shimmer even more brightly. Suddenly, the clock tower's face began to glow, and the hands moved to align with the melody's rhythm. The entire garden seemed to come alive with the music, and Iris felt a deep sense of harmony and joy. The clockwork creatures danced in perfect unison, and the flowers swayed as if they were sharing in the melody. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a graceful, elderly woman with silver hair and eyes that sparkled like stardust. She was dressed in a gown that seemed to flow like liquid moonlight. "I am Althea, the guardian of the clockwork garden," the woman said with a warm smile. "You have unlocked the garden's heart, Iris. The music box is a symbol of the harmony between time and nature, a balance that keeps the garden alive and thriving." Iris looked around in wonder. "Why did you choose me?" Althea explained, "Your love for invention and your curiosity have shown that you understand the importance of balance and harmony. The garden's magic is meant to inspire those who seek to create beauty and wonder in the world." With a gentle wave of her hand, Althea bestowed a gift upon Iris, a small, golden locket shaped like a gear. "This locket will allow you to visit the garden whenever you wish. It will also grant you the wisdom to infuse your creations with the magic of harmony." Iris thanked Althea and returned to her village, her heart filled with the magic of the clockwork garden. She used the inspiration she gained to create marvelous inventions that brought joy and wonder to Cogsworth. The village thrived, and the clockwork garden remained a hidden sanctuary of magic and harmony, known only to those who truly understood the beauty of balance. And every time Iris looked at the golden locket, she was reminded of the enchanting melody that connected her to a world of wonder. And so, Iris lived happily ever after, her creations bringing light and magic to everyone who encountered them. The moonlit garden. Once upon a time, in a charming village nestled between emerald hills and sparkling streams, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden was said to bloom only under the light of the full moon, and it was believed to hold the secrets of nature's most wondrous plants. In this village lived a young girl named Lila, who was known for her love of nature and her deep curiosity about the world. She often dreamt of discovering the moonlit garden and uncovering its mysteries. Her grandmother had told her stories of its magical flowers that could heal any ailment and its fruits that could grant dreams. One evening, as the full moon began to rise and bathe the world in its soft, silvery light, Lila decided to follow the old tales and find the elusive garden. She packed a small satchel with a lantern, a notebook, and some snacks, and set out towards the edge of the forest where the garden was rumored to be hidden. As Lila wandered through the moonlit woods, she felt a sense of magic in the air. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and the ground sparkled with tiny, glowing fireflies. Following a path marked by glowing mushrooms, she ventured deeper into the forest. After a while, Lila arrived at a clearing where the moonlight illuminated a majestic, ancient oak tree. Beneath the tree was an old wooden door, covered in vines and adorned with glowing runes. With a deep breath and a touch of excitement, Lila opened the door and stepped into the moonlit garden. The garden was more magnificent than she had ever imagined. Moonlight danced across lush, flowering plants that shimmered in hues of silver and blue. The air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blooming nightshade flowers and the soft hum of magical creatures flitting about. In the center of the garden was a large, crystal-clear pond, its surface reflecting the moonlight like a mirror. Beside the pond stood a wise old figure with flowing silver robes and a kind face, the guardian of the moonlit garden. "Welcome, Lila," the guardian said in a voice as gentle as a whisper. "I have been expecting you. What brings you to the moonlit garden?" Lila's eyes widened with wonder. "I have heard tales of the garden's magic and came to see it for myself. I want to help my village, which has been struggling with a terrible drought. Can the garden help?" The guardian smiled warmly. "The moonlit garden holds many wonders, and it is here to share its gifts with those who seek them with pure hearts. There is a special flower in this garden called the moon blossom. It can bring forth rain and restore life to the land. But to find it, you must prove your worth by solving a riddle." With a nod of determination, Lila listened as the guardian spoke the riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila thought carefully, her mind racing through the possibilities. After a moment, a smile spread across her face. "The answer is fire." The guardian's eyes sparkled with approval. "Well done, Lila. You have proven yourself worthy. The moon blossom can be found at the heart of the garden, near the pond. Follow the light of the fireflies, and you will find it." Lila thanked the guardian and followed the path illuminated by the fireflies. At the heart of the garden, she found a breathtaking flower with petals that shimmered like liquid moonlight. She carefully picked the moon blossom and made her way back to the village. As she approached the village, Lila saw the villagers gathered around, their faces filled with worry. She held up the moon blossom, and its light began to glow even brighter. Lila placed the flower in the center of the village square and whispered a heartfelt wish for rain. The sky above the village darkened, and soon, a gentle rain began to fall. The parched land drank in the water, and the fields began to show signs of life. The villagers cheered with joy as the garden's magic restored their land and their hope. Lila was celebrated as a hero, and the moonlit garden became a cherished part of the village's lore. The garden continued to thrive under the moonlight, a symbol of magic and hope. And so, the village flourished, and Lila's bravery and kindness were remembered for generations. The moonlit garden remained a magical place where dreams and wishes came to life, thanks to a girl who believed in the power of nature and the magic of the moon. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in the beautiful kingdom of Luminera, there lived a wise and kind-hearted king named Eric and his equally beloved queen, Elara. They had a daughter named Amara, who was as brave as she was beautiful. Amara loved her people and spent her days learning about the kingdom and helping those in need. But despite her cheerful demeanor, there was always a sense of mystery about her. One fateful day, Queen Alara fell gravely ill. Despite the efforts of the kingdom's best healers, her condition continued to worsen. Desperate to save her mother, Princess Amara sought the counsel of the kingdom's oldest sage, an elderly woman named Matilda who lived in a secluded cottage deep within the Whispering Woods. Matilda listened intently to Amara's plight. "There is one thing that might save your mother," she said, her voice trembling with age. "The enchanted mirror of Seraphine. It possesses powerful magic that can heal even the gravest of illnesses. However, it is hidden in the Forbidden Fortress, guarded by fierce creatures and treacherous traps." Without hesitation, Amara decided to embark on the perilous journey to find the enchanted mirror. The next morning, with her father's reluctant blessing and a heart full of determination, she set off on her quest. She took with her a loyal companion, a talking owl named Oliver, who had been her friend since childhood. As they journeyed through the Whispering Woods, Amara and Oliver encountered numerous challenges. They crossed a river of swirling rapids on a rickety old bridge, narrowly avoiding being swept away. They navigated through a dense, enchanted forest where the trees seemed to move on their own, trying to lead them astray. After several days, they reached the outskirts of the Forbidden Fortress. The ancient, towering structure loomed ominously before them, surrounded by jagged rocks and a moat filled with dark, murky water. Amara took a deep breath and, with Oliver perched on her shoulder, began to search for a way inside. They found a hidden entrance, a narrow passageway concealed by thick vines. Inside the fortress, the air was damp and cold, and the only light came from the faint glow of torches mounted on the walls. Amara and Oliver moved cautiously, aware that the fortress was filled with hidden dangers. As they ventured deeper, they encountered the first guardian, a giant spider with eyes that glowed like embers. The spider blocked their path, its fangs dripping with venom. Summoning all her courage, Amara drew her sword, ready to defend herself. But Oliver, ever the clever owl, had a different idea. He flew to the spider and began to speak in its language, a series of clicks and hisses. The spider hesitated, then slowly retreated, allowing Amara and Oliver to pass. "How did you do that?" Amara asked, amazed. "I reminded her of the ancient pact between our ancestors," Oliver explained. "We owe each other a debt of peace." Continuing their journey, they faced numerous other trials, including a room filled with shifting floors and hidden spikes, and a corridor guarded by a fierce, fire-breathing dragon. With Oliver's wisdom and Amara's bravery, they overcame each challenge, growing more determined with every step. Finally, they reached the heart of the fortress, a grand chamber where the enchanted mirror of Seraphine was kept. The mirror was mounted on an ornate golden frame, its surface shimmering with a magical light. However, as they approached, the final guardian appeared, a spectral knight clad in armor that glowed with an eerie blue light. "You shall not take the mirror," the knight declared, his voice echoing through the chamber. Amara stepped forward, her heart pounding. "I seek the mirror to save my mother, the queen. Please, allow me to take it." The spectral knight paused, as if considering her words. "Only one who is truly selfless and pure of heart may wield the power of the enchanted mirror. Prove your worth, princess." Amara thought for a moment, then realized what she had to do. She knelt before the knight and placed her sword at his feet. "I am willing to give up everything, even my life, to save my mother and protect my kingdom. Please, grant me this chance." The knight's eyes softened, and he slowly nodded. "You have proven your worth, Princess Amara. The mirror is yours." With great reverence, Amara approached the enchanted mirror and carefully took it down from its place. The moment she touched it, she felt a warm, soothing energy flow through her. She thanked the spectral knight, who bowed in return and then vanished. With the enchanted mirror in hand, Amara and Oliver hurried back to Luminera. The journey back seemed shorter, as if the mirror's magic was guiding them home. When they arrived, they found Queen Alara's condition had worsened. Without wasting a moment, Amara held the mirror over her mother, and its magical light enveloped the queen. Slowly, Queen Alara opened her eyes, her strength returning. She smiled at her daughter, tears of gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you, Amara. You have saved me." The kingdom rejoiced at the queen's miraculous recovery. King Eric declared a week of celebration, and Amara's bravery and selflessness became the stuff of legends. The enchanted mirror was placed in a special chamber in the castle, its magic reserved for those in greatest need. And so, Princess Amara continued to rule with wisdom and compassion, her bond with her mother stronger than ever. With Oliver by her side, she knew that any challenge could be overcome with courage, kindness, and a little bit of magic. And they all lived happily ever after. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a charming village bordered by lush forests and rolling hills, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden, known as the Moonlit Garden, was said to bloom with flowers that only opened under the light of the full moon. It was rumored that these flowers had magical properties, but the garden was shrouded in mystery and enchantment. In this village lived a curious and kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was fascinated by the tales of the Moonlit Garden and dreamed of discovering its secrets. He often gazed at the moon and wondered what wonders it might hold. His grandmother, who was the village storyteller, had told him stories about the garden's magic and the guardian who protected it. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the landscape, Finn decided it was time to find the Moonlit Garden. Armed with a lantern and a small notebook, he set off toward the edge of the forest where the garden was rumored to be hidden. As Finn ventured deeper into the forest, he followed a faint, melodic sound that seemed to float through the trees. The music guided him along a winding path until he reached an old, ivy-covered gate. With a deep breath, Finn pushed open the gate, and a breathtaking sight unfolded before him. The Moonlit Garden was more beautiful than he had ever imagined. Flowers of every color and shape bloomed under the moonlight, their petals glowing softly. There were roses that shimmered like silver, daisies with golden centers, and lilies that seemed to sparkle like stars. In the center of the garden stood a tall, graceful figure, an elegant fairy with wings that glowed like the moon. "Welcome, Finn," the fairy said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian of the Moonlit Garden. Few have ever found their way here. What brings you to our enchanted haven?" Finn's eyes widened with awe. "I've always been fascinated by the stories of this garden. I wanted to see it for myself and learn about its magic." Leora smiled warmly. "The Moonlit Garden holds many wonders, but it is not only a place of beauty. It has a special purpose. Each flower here represents a dream or wish. To keep the garden flourishing, we must ensure that dreams are nurtured and fulfilled." Finn looked around, seeing the vibrant flowers and feeling a sense of wonder. "How can I help?" Leora's eyes sparkled. "There is a special flower here, the moonflower, which has not bloomed for many years. It is said that it blooms only when a wish from a pure heart is made. If you can find the moonflower and make a wish for something truly meaningful, it will help restore balance to the garden." Determined to help, Finn searched the garden with care. He examined every flower and listened to the whispers of the breeze, hoping to find the elusive moonflower. After a while, he spotted a single, delicate flower hidden among the tall grasses. Its petals were a deep, shimmering blue, and it seemed to glow with a gentle light. Finn approached the moonflower and knelt beside it. With sincerity and thoughtfulness, he made his wish. "I wish for the dreams of everyone in the village to come true and for their hearts to be filled with joy and hope." As Finn finished his wish, the moonflower's petals began to open, and a soft, radiant light filled the garden. The light spread out, touching every flower, and the entire moonlit garden began to shimmer and glow more brightly than ever before. Leora appeared beside Finn, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Your wish has restored the garden's magic. The moonflower's light will now nurture the dreams and hopes of all who believe in the magic of the Moonlit Garden." Finn felt a warm sense of fulfillment. Leora presented him with a small, silver pendant in the shape of a moon. "This pendant will remind you of the magic you've helped restore. It will guide you whenever you need to find your way." With a heart full of joy and a newfound sense of wonder, Finn thanked Leora and made his way back to the village. As he walked, the pendant around his neck seemed to glow softly, and the moonlit path illuminated his journey. When Finn returned to his village, he shared the story of the moonlit garden and the magic it held. The villagers were inspired by his tale, and the magic of the moonlit garden seemed to touch their lives. Dreams and hopes flourished, and the village became a place of happiness and light. Every full moon, Finn would return to the edge of the forest, gazing at the moonlit night, knowing that the magic of the moonlit garden was always with him. And so, the garden's enchantment lived on, a reminder that even the smallest wish could create the most wondrous magic. The end. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled by the edge of a sparkling lake, there was a tale of a rare flower known as the moonflower. This flower was said to bloom only once every 100 years, on the night of the blue moon. Its petals were as white as snow, and its fragrance was said to bring clarity and peace to anyone who smelled it. The moonflower was said to possess magical properties, but no one had ever seen it, as it bloomed deep in the heart of the whispering forest. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her love of the forest and her deep connection with nature. She often helped the villagers with their crops and tended to the local wildlife. Despite her simple life, Lyra felt a deep yearning to find the moonflower and unlock its mysteries, believing it could bring great benefit to her village. One evening, as the blue moon rose high in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the landscape, Lyra made up her mind to venture into the whispering forest. She packed a small satchel with essentials, a lantern, some bread and cheese, and a warm cloak. The forest was known for its enchanting yet enigmatic nature, so Lyra prepared for an adventure. As she entered the forest, the trees seemed to whisper and sway with the wind, guiding her deeper into their midst. The moonlight filtered through the canopy, creating a magical, shimmering path. Lyra followed this path, her heart filled with hope and excitement. After some time, she came to a clearing where a large, ancient tree stood, its trunk covered in glowing moss. At the base of the tree was a small, intricately carved door. Lyra approached the door and noticed an inscription: "To find the moonflower, you must show the virtues of the heart. Help those in need, listen to the whispers of the forest, and the path will be revealed." Lyra nodded, understanding the task ahead. She continued through the forest, and soon she encountered a family of deer trapped in a thicket of brambles. With gentle hands and a soothing voice, Lyra carefully freed the deer, who looked at her with gratitude before bounding away. Next, she heard the cries of a wounded owl perched high in a tree. Climbing carefully, Lyra tended to the owl's injury and helped it return to its nest. The owl hooted in thanks, and its eyes sparkled with wisdom. Finally, Lyra came to a babbling brook where the water had grown muddy and still. She noticed that the brook was choked with debris and worked tirelessly to clear it, restoring the water's crystal clarity. As she worked, she heard the faintest whisper of gratitude from the forest itself. With her tasks complete, Lyra returned to the ancient tree and found that the door had opened slightly, revealing a hidden passage. She stepped through and found herself in a beautiful, moonlit glade. In the center of the glade was a single, radiant moonflower in full bloom, its petals glowing softly in the moonlight. Lyra approached the moonflower, mesmerized by its beauty and the calming aura it radiated. As she leaned in to inhale its fragrance, she felt a profound sense of peace and clarity. The moonlight seemed to dance around her, and she understood the true magic of the moonflower was not just in its appearance, but in the serenity it brought. With great reverence, Lyra picked a single petal from the moonflower and carefully placed it in a small, glass vial. She knew the flower's magic could bring much-needed peace and hope to her village. Returning home, Lyra was greeted with awe and gratitude. She used the moonflower's petal to create a calming elixir that brought comfort and clarity to the villagers. The elixir helped them find harmony in their lives, and the village flourished with newfound tranquility and happiness. The tale of Lyra and the moonflower became a cherished legend in the village, a reminder of the virtues of kindness, bravery, and listening to the whispers of the heart. The whispering forest remained a place of wonder and magic, where legends were born and hearts were healed. And so, Lyra's adventure with the Moonflower became a beloved story, teaching that true magic is found in the virtues of the heart and the courage to help others. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by lush green hills, there stood an ancient willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. The villagers believed that the tree held magical powers, for whenever the wind rustled its leaves, it seemed to whisper secrets of the past and future. In this village lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known for her kind heart and insatiable curiosity. She loved spending time near the Whispering Willow, where she would sit for hours, listening to the gentle whispers and imagining all the stories the tree might tell. One day, as Lila was sitting beneath the willow, she noticed something unusual. The whispers seemed more urgent, and the tree's leaves shimmered with an ethereal light. Intrigued, Lila placed her ear closer to the trunk, and a soft, melodic voice spoke directly to her. "Lila," the Whispering Willow said, "I need your help. A terrible curse has befallen our magical realm, hidden deep within the forest. Only someone with a pure heart and unwavering courage can lift the curse and restore balance." Lila's eyes widened with excitement and determination. She agreed to help the Whispering Willow and was given a small, golden acorn as a guide. The acorn glowed warmly and pointed toward a hidden path in the forest. Following the acorn's guidance, Lila ventured into the heart of the forest. The path was winding and filled with magical creatures, glowing fireflies, mischievous sprites, and talking animals. As she journeyed deeper, she encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. To lift the curse, the owl hooted, "You must seek the heart of the forest. It is guarded by the enigmatic shadow beast. Only by showing kindness and bravery can you overcome the beast and retrieve the heart." Thanking the owl, Lila continued on her quest. The path grew darker and more mysterious as she approached the heart of the forest. Soon, she reached a misty clearing where the shadow beast awaited. The beast was a majestic creature with shimmering fur and eyes that glowed like moonlight. It was both awe-inspiring and fearsome. Instead of attacking, the shadow beast spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "Why have you come, young one? Do you seek to defeat me?" Lila stood tall and replied with conviction, "I am here to lift the curse and restore the balance. I seek the heart of the forest to help the Whispering Willow and my village." The shadow beast's eyes softened, and it regarded Lila with a mixture of surprise and admiration. "Many have come before you with strength and weapons, but none with such a pure heart. To prove your courage, you must pass my final test." The beast's test was one of compassion. It summoned a dark mist that enveloped Lila, making her feel lost and afraid. But Lila remembered the whispers of the Whispering Willow and the kindness she had shown on her journey. She focused on her heart's warmth and called out to the mist, expressing her wish to bring light and joy to those who were suffering. As Lila's words resonated, the mist began to dissipate, revealing the heart of the forest, a radiant gem pulsating with a soft, golden light. The shadow beast, now smiling, handed over the heart to Lila. "You have proven yourself worthy," the beast said. "Return it to the Whispering Willow and the curse will be lifted." With the heart of the forest in hand, Lila made her way back to the Whispering Willow. The tree's whispers were now filled with hope and gratitude. As Lila placed the heart at the base of the willow, a wave of light and magic surged through the forest, dispelling the darkness and restoring the realm's natural beauty. The village celebrated Lila's bravery and the return of harmony to the land. The Whispering Willow, now more vibrant than ever, continued to share its whispers, but now with stories of courage and kindness. Lila's adventure became a cherished tale in the village, and she often returned to the Whispering Willow to listen to its gentle whispers and to remember the magical realm she had saved with her heart full of courage and love. And so, the Whispering Willow stood tall, a beacon of hope and magic, reminding everyone of the power of a pure heart and the wonders that lie beyond the ordinary. In the heart of a verdant forest, nestled among the whispering trees and sparkling streams, there lay a hidden well known only to the forest's magical inhabitants. This was the Stardust Well, a mystical spring said to grant extraordinary gifts to those who discovered it and approached with a pure heart. One crisp autumn morning, a young boy named Finn with a heart full of curiosity and dreams, set out from his small village to explore the forest. Finn had always been enchanted by the stories of magic and wonder his grandmother used to tell him. She had once spoken of the Stardust Well, but Finn had never truly believed it existed, until now. As Finn ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and the sunlight filtered through the branches in golden beams. The forest seemed alive with secrets and whispers. Finn's journey was guided by a gentle breeze that seemed to lead him forward. After hours of wandering, Finn stumbled upon a clearing filled with vibrant wildflowers and glowing mushrooms. At the center of the clearing was an old, stone well, covered in ivy and adorned with sparkling, stardust-like crystals. Finn knew he had found the Stardust Well. Excited and a little nervous, Finn approached the well. He peered into its depths, but the water was hidden beneath a shimmering veil of stardust. He recalled the stories about the well, how it only granted wishes to those with a selfless heart. Finn thought about his wish. He wanted to help his village, which had been struggling with a poor harvest that year. The villagers were kind but had little hope for a good harvest. Finn's heart ached for them, and he wished he could bring prosperity and joy to his home. Taking a deep breath, Finn spoke to the well, "Great Stardust Well, I wish for my village to have a bountiful harvest and for my people to be happy and healthy." The well's stardust began to swirl, and a soft, melodic voice echoed from within, a wish of selflessness and love. "The magic of the well shall grant this wish. But you must also share the gift of the forest." With that, the stardust above the well sparkled brightly, and a small, golden chest emerged from the depths. Finn opened the chest to find it filled with luminous seeds, each glowing with a soft, warm light. "The seeds will bring prosperity," the voice continued, "but you must plant them with care and nurture them with love." Finn thanked the Stardust Well and carefully carried the chest back to his village. The journey home was filled with anticipation, and as he approached the village, he was greeted by worried faces. With great excitement, Finn gathered the villagers and shared his adventure. Together, they planted the glowing seeds in the fields and gardens. They watered them with hope and tended to them with care. As days turned into weeks, something magical began to happen. The once barren fields and gardens flourished with vibrant crops and fruits. The trees bore lush, ripe apples, and the fields were filled with golden wheat. The village's spirits lifted, and their joy was palpable. They celebrated with a grand feast, giving thanks for the unexpected bounty. The villagers marveled at Finn's adventure and the miraculous harvest. They knew it was a gift from the Stardust Well and celebrated their newfound prosperity with gratitude. Finn's bravery and selflessness had not only transformed his village but had also strengthened the bond among its people. The villagers learned that by working together and sharing their blessings, they could overcome any challenge. From then on, the Stardust Well was not just a legend but a symbol of hope and magic. And Finn, who had once been just a curious boy, became a beloved hero, remembered for his kindness and the gift that brought joy to his home. And so, the forest continued to whisper its secrets, the Stardust Well remained a beacon of wonder, and Finn's village thrived in happiness and harmony. In a lush, green kingdom nestled between shimmering lakes and rolling hills, there was a small village named Leora. This village was renowned for its vibrant festivals and the warm-hearted nature of its people. At the center of the village stood a grand oak tree, under which a beautiful lantern hung year-round. This lantern was known as the Lantern of Leora, and it was said to hold the magic to light up the darkest nights and bring hope to those in need. The lantern had been a cherished symbol for generations, but as the years passed, its glow had dimmed. The villagers whispered that its magic was fading, and many feared that without the lantern's light, their village might fall into darkness. Among the villagers was a kind-hearted girl named Eloan. With her bright eyes and compassionate nature, Eloan was always ready to lend a hand. She loved the Lantern of Leora and was determined to restore its once glorious light. One crisp autumn evening, as the lantern's glow grew even fainter, Eloan decided she would embark on a quest to rejuvenate its magic. She packed a small satchel with essential supplies, a blanket, some bread, a flask of water, and a lantern of her own for light. She kissed her parents goodbye and set off on her journey, guided by the faint glow of the lantern of Leora. Eloan followed an old path through the forest, her lantern casting a soft light over the darkened trail. As she walked, she encountered a series of magical creatures, a wise old owl, a chatty squirrel, and a graceful deer. Each creature offered Eloan a piece of advice and a small token to help on her quest. The owl gave her a feather that sparkled like moonlight and said, "This will help you find your way when you are lost." The squirrel handed her a tiny acorn and chirped, "This will bring you strength when you feel weary." The deer offered her a delicate leaf and whispered, "This will guide you through the darkest of nights." Armed with these gifts, Eloan continued her journey until she arrived at the edge of a deep, shadowy cave. The cave was rumored to be the resting place of an ancient, magical gem known as the Heartstone. The villagers believed that the Heartstone was the key to restoring the lantern of Leora's light. Taking a deep breath, Eloan entered the cave, her lantern casting flickering shadows on the walls. The cave was vast and filled with sparkling crystals that reflected light in dazzling patterns. At the heart of the cave, Eloan saw a pedestal with the Heartstone resting atop it, a large, pulsating gem that glowed with a soft, golden light. As she approached the Heartstone, a dark figure emerged from the shadows, a guardian spirit with eyes like burning coals and a stern expression. "Who dares to take the Heartstone?" the guardian asked, its voice echoing through the cave. Eloan stood tall and spoke with courage. "I am Eloan from Leora. I seek the Heartstone to restore the lantern of Leora's light and bring hope to my village." The guardian's eyes softened as it listened to Eloan's earnest plea. "To take the Heartstone, you must prove your heart's purity and your resolve. Answer this riddle, and you may succeed." The guardian recited a riddle. "I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Eloan thought for a moment, recalling the guidance from the creatures she had met. With a smile, she answered, "A map." The guardian's stern expression turned into a smile of approval. "You have answered wisely. You may take the Heartstone." With the Heartstone safely in her possession, Eloan made her way back to the village. The journey was long and tiring, but the tokens she received from the magical creatures helped her through the darkness. As she approached Leora, the lantern hanging from the grand oak tree still glowed faintly, barely visible in the twilight. Eloan placed the Heartstone inside the lantern. As soon as she did, a brilliant light exploded from the lantern, illuminating the entire village with a warm, golden glow. The villagers rushed outside, their faces filled with amazement and joy as the once fading lantern of Leora now shone brighter than ever. The village celebrated with a grand festival, and Eloan was hailed as a hero. The lantern's restored light symbolized the hope and unity of the village. The kingdom of Leora thrived, and the lantern continued to shine brightly, guiding the way for all who sought its light. And so, Eloan's bravery and determination became a cherished story in the village of Leora, reminding all that with courage, kindness, and a pure heart, even the darkest nights could be lit with hope and magic. Once upon a time, in a lush valley surrounded by towering mountains, there lay a kingdom called Eldoria. Eldoria was known for its vibrant forests, sparkling lakes, and the magnificent Dragon's Peak that loomed over the land. At the top of this peak lived a dragon named Draken, whose scales glittered like molten gold and whose breath could create flames as bright as the sun. Draken was not just any dragon, he was the keeper of a legendary treasure, a chest filled with ancient artifacts and priceless gems. However, Draken had hidden the treasure away many years ago, and no one knew its exact location except for him. Over time, Draken's once bright scales grew dim, and his fiery breath softened. He was no longer the fearsome dragon he once was. In the village at the foot of Dragon's Peak lived a kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his love for exploring the forests and mountains. He often heard tales about Draken and the lost treasure, but he had never seen the dragon himself. One day, while exploring the forest, Finn stumbled upon an old, tattered map. The map was covered in strange symbols and led to Dragon's Peak. Excited by the discovery, Finn decided to follow the map and see where it would lead. As he climbed the steep path to the top of Dragon's Peak, Finn encountered various challenges. rocky slopes, narrow ledges, and even a mischievous group of mountain sprites who tried to distract him. But Finn's determination and courage helped him overcome every obstacle. At last, Finn reached the summit and found a hidden cave entrance covered by a curtain of ivy. With a deep breath, he entered the cave, where he saw Draken lying on a pile of old treasures, looking sad and weary. "Greetings, great Draken," Finn said respectfully. "I have come to find the lost treasure. I found this map, and I believe it might lead to something you've been searching for." Draken's eyes, though dim, sparkled with curiosity. "The treasure is indeed lost, but I have hidden it away so long ago that I have forgotten where it lies. I am not the dragon I once was, and the treasure's magic has faded with me." Finn approached the dragon and, seeing his condition, felt a pang of sympathy. "Perhaps the treasure isn't just about the gold and jewels," he suggested. "Maybe it's about the magic and the hope it once brought. Let me help you find it." Draken's heart warmed at Finn's words. Together, they started to search the cave, following the clues on the map. They discovered hidden compartments and ancient scrolls, each one holding pieces of the treasure story. As they worked together, Draken's scales began to regain their luster, and his breath grew warmer. Finally, they found a small, intricately carved chest hidden behind a rock. When Finn opened it, he found not just gold and gems but a glowing crystal that pulsed with a gentle light. The crystal seemed to resonate with Draken's own magic. "This crystal holds the true magic of the treasure," Draken explained. "It was never about the riches but the magic that brought joy and hope to the land." With a newfound energy, Draken took the crystal and held it close. The cave filled with a brilliant light, and the treasure's magic spread throughout Eldoria, restoring the land's beauty and vitality. Finn and Draken returned to the village, where the villagers celebrated their return with joy and gratitude. Draken, now revitalized, became a beloved guardian of Eldoria, using his magic to protect and enrich the land. Finn's bravery and kindness were celebrated, and he continued to explore and help others, knowing that the true treasure was the magic of friendship and the joy of sharing one's heart. And so, Eldoria thrived, with Draken's treasure shining as a symbol of hope and the magic of a courageous heart. Finn's adventure became a cherished tale, reminding everyone that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones that bring people together and make the world a brighter place. In a quaint village nestled in a valley, surrounded by rolling hills and flowering meadows, there was a young artist named Arya. Arya was known for her beautiful paintings that seemed to come to life with color and imagination. Her art was admired by all, but despite her talent, Arya felt something was missing. She longed for a way to create art that could make a real difference in the world. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky was painted with shades of pink and orange, Arya discovered an old, ornate box in her grandmother's attic. The box was intricately carved with magical symbols and adorned with shimmering stones. Curious, Arya opened it to find a paintbrush unlike any she had ever seen. The brush's handle was made of a silver-like material, and its bristles sparkled with an ethereal light. Intrigued, Arya decided to test the paintbrush. She set up her easel and began to paint a simple scene of the village meadow, using the magical brush. As she painted, she noticed that the colors seemed to swirl and blend more vividly than ever before. The flowers on the canvas swayed gently, and the sky glowed with a soft, enchanting light. The next morning, as Arya walked through the village, she saw something astonishing. The meadow she had painted seemed to have come to life. The flowers were blooming more vibrantly, and the sky above was filled with a magical glow. The villagers were amazed, and Arya realized that the paintbrush had indeed brought her artwork to life. Word of Arya's miraculous paintbrush spread quickly, and people from neighboring villages came to see the wonder for themselves. Each day, Arya used the brush to paint scenes that improved the village. She painted a field of golden crops to ensure a bountiful harvest, a crystal-clear lake for the villagers to enjoy, and a majestic tree that provided shade and comfort to everyone who sat beneath it. However, Arya noticed that despite the beauty her paintings brought, there was still a sadness in the hearts of the villagers. They were grateful but seemed to lack true happiness. One evening, as she sat by her easel, Arya wondered how she could use her paintbrush to bring not just beauty, but also joy and harmony to the village. That night, she decided to paint something different. Instead of focusing on the physical beauty of the world, Arya painted a scene of the villagers coming together in celebration. She depicted laughter, kindness, and unity. As she added the final touches, the paintbrush glowed brighter than ever before. The next morning, as the villagers gathered around Arya's latest painting, something magical happened. The scene began to shimmer and come alive, and the villagers found themselves transported into a world of joy and camaraderie. They danced, laughed, and shared stories, experiencing the true sense of community that the painting had captured. As the day went on, the villagers felt a profound change. They began to help each other more, share their joys and sorrows, and work together to build a stronger, more connected community. The village became a place of genuine happiness and support, and Arya's heart swelled with pride and contentment. The magical paintbrush had indeed brought about a transformation, not just in the village's landscape, but in the hearts of its people. Realizing the true power of her gift, Arya continued to use the paintbrush to inspire and uplift the village, painting scenes of hope, kindness, and unity. The enchanted paintbrush remained a treasured artifact, and Arya's legacy lived on through the vibrant, joyful village she had helped create. Her story was passed down through generations, a reminder that true magic lies in the power of art and the strength of a united community. And so, Arya and her village thrived, their days filled with color, joy, and harmony, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a lush, green forest filled with the soft melodies of birds and the whisper of the wind, there lived a young girl named Elara. She had bright, curious eyes and a heart full of wonder. Elara lived in a cozy cottage with her grandmother, who often told her stories of magic and adventure. One sunny afternoon, while exploring the edge of the forest, Elara stumbled upon a hidden path she had never noticed before. The path was lined with sparkling pebbles that seemed to glow with a gentle light. Intrigued, Elara decided to follow it. The path wound through the trees, leading her to a magnificent, ancient oak tree with a door carved into its trunk. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, Elara opened the door and stepped inside. To her amazement, she found herself in a magical world where the trees were adorned with shimmering leaves and flowers danced in the air. A gentle, glowing fairy named Leora greeted her. "Welcome, Elara," Leora said with a warm smile. "I've been waiting for someone brave and kind-hearted to help us." Elara was puzzled. "Help with what?" Leora's expression grew serious. "Our beloved forest queen has been trapped in a spell by a mischievous sorcerer. Without her, our world is slowly losing its magic. We need someone with a pure heart to break the spell." Elara, feeling a surge of courage, agreed to help. Leora led her to a crystal-clear lake where a small boat awaited them. As they sailed across the lake, Leora explained that the sorcerer had hidden the key to the spell in a place where only someone truly kind could find it. The boat soon reached a small island covered in golden flowers. In the center of the island stood a grand pedestal with a shimmering key on top. But guarding the key was a grumpy, old troll named Grendel. Grendel grumbled, "To get the key, you must first make me smile. Only then will I give it to you." Elara thought for a moment and then began to tell Grendel a story about a clumsy dragon who accidentally helped a village by knocking over a giant boulder that had been blocking their water supply. The dragon's unintended heroism made Grendel chuckle, and soon he was laughing heartily. With a beaming smile, Grendel handed over the key. Elara and Leora returned to the enchanted oak tree and used the key to unlock a hidden chamber. Inside, the forest queen was trapped in a magical crystal. Elara took a deep breath and, with a pure heart, recited a special incantation Leora had taught her. The crystal shattered into a million sparkles, and the forest queen was freed. "Thank you, Elara," the forest queen said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "You have restored our magic and saved our world." As a token of gratitude, the forest queen granted Elara a special gift, a small, enchanted pendant that would allow her to visit the magical world anytime she wished. Elara hugged Leora and the forest queen goodbye and made her way back to her cottage. When she arrived home, she found her grandmother waiting with a knowing smile. Ilara shared her adventure, and her grandmother listened with wonder. That night, as Ilara drifted off to sleep, she clasped the pendant around her neck and smiled, knowing that the magical world was always just a heartbeat away. And so, Ilara continued to live her days with a heart full of adventure and kindness, knowing that the magic of the forest would forever be a part of her. Once upon a time, in a realm where emerald forests met sapphire skies, there was a hidden grove known as the Starlit Grove. This magical grove was said to be blessed by the stars themselves, and every night, its trees glowed with a gentle, celestial light. The village and nearby had long whispered legends about the grove's magic, but no one had ever ventured inside, until a brave girl named Mira decided to uncover its secrets. Mira was known for her adventurous spirit and her deep curiosity about the world beyond the village. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle, Mira stood at the edge of the grove, mesmerized by its glowing trees. Her grandmother had often told her stories about the grove, saying that it held the power to grant a single wish to anyone who discovered its heart. Determined to find out if the legends were true, Mira stepped into the grove. The air was cool and fragrant, and the path ahead shimmered with stardust. Mira followed the glowing trail, her heart pounding with excitement and a touch of nervousness. As she ventured deeper into the grove, she came across a small, sparkling stream. The water was clear as crystal, and it sang a soft, melodious tune as it flowed. At the edge of the stream stood a wise old owl perched on a low-hanging branch. "Greetings, young traveler," the owl said in a gentle, yet knowing voice. "To reach the heart of the Starlit Grove, you must first solve a riddle. Only then will the way be revealed." Mira nodded, eager to prove her worth. The owl's eyes twinkled as it began the riddle. "I have keys, but open no locks. I have space, but no room. You can enter, but you cannot go outside. What am I?" Mira thought hard, her eyes scanning the grove. After a moment of contemplation, she answered, "A piano." The owl hooted in approval and gave her a feather that glowed faintly with starry light. "Well done. Take this feather, and let it guide you further." With the feather in hand, Mira continued her journey. The grove grew even more enchanting as she walked, with trees sparkling brighter and the stardust on the ground forming patterns that seemed to point the way. Eventually, she reached a large, ancient oak tree with a grand, gnarled trunk and branches that reached high into the night sky. At the base of the oak tree was a hidden door, decorated with intricate carvings of constellations. Mira used the glowing feather to unlock the door, revealing a hidden chamber inside the tree. The chamber was filled with soft, silvery light and a sense of profound tranquility. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal holding a small, radiant star encased in a crystal sphere. The star seemed to pulse with a gentle, rhythmic light. Mira approached the pedestal, her heart racing with anticipation. As she reached out to touch the crystal sphere, the grove around her began to hum softly. The light from the star grew brighter, and a warm, soothing voice filled the chamber. "Welcome, Mira. You have proven yourself brave and wise. This is the Star of Wishes. It holds the power to grant one wish to the one who finds it with a pure heart." Mira closed her eyes and made her wish. She wished for the prosperity and happiness of her village, hoping to bring joy and well-being to her family and friends. The moment Mira's wish was made, the star's light intensified, and the chamber was filled with a shimmering glow. The light radiated out from the grove, touching every corner of the village. The next morning, the villagers awoke to find their fields lush and green, their homes filled with warmth, and their hearts uplifted with joy. Mira returned to the village, greeted with cheers and celebrations. She shared her adventure and the story of the Starlit Grove, and the villagers marveled at the magic that had touched their lives. From that day on, the grove remained a place of wonder and mystery, visited only by those with a heart full of curiosity and courage. The villagers continued to thrive, inspired by Mira's bravery and the magic of the grove. And so, the Starlit Grove's secret continued to shine bright, a timeless reminder that the magic of wishes is not just in the stars, but in the hearts of those who believe. The end. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the highest mountains and deepest seas, there was a tranquil kingdom known as Eldoria. Eldoria was renowned for its lush green fields, sparkling rivers, and the most magnificent lake anyone had ever seen. This lake was known as Starry Lake because, on clear nights, the surface sparkled as if it were filled with stars. The people of Eldoria loved the lake, for it was said to grant a single wish to anyone with a pure heart who visited it on a moonlit night. However, no one had ever made a wish, as the lake was guarded by a kind-hearted but mysterious old woman named Mirabella. Mirabella lived in a quaint cottage on the edge of the lake. She had a magical way with the creatures of the forest and was known to keep the lake's magic safe. Each evening, she would walk by the water, humming a soft tune that kept the lake's magic alive. One bright summer's day, a young girl named Elara arrived in Eldoria. Elara was an adventurous soul with dreams of discovering something extraordinary. When she heard about the legendary Starry Lake, she decided to visit it, hoping to uncover its secrets. As the sun set and the moon began to rise, Elara made her way to the lake. She saw Mirabella walking by the shore and approached her with a respectful bow. "Good evening, Lady Mirabella. I've heard many tales about the magic of Starry Lake. May I make a wish tonight?" Mirabella looked at Elara with kind eyes and said, "The lake's magic is indeed powerful, but it is not to be taken lightly. What is it that you truly seek?" Elara hesitated but then said, "I wish to discover something wonderful that will bring joy and hope to everyone in my village." Mirabella nodded and said, "A wish made with such a pure heart deserves a chance. But remember, the lake can only grant a wish if it is made for the greater good. Follow the path of moonlight, and you will find what you seek." As Mirabella spoke, she waved her hand, and a soft, glowing path appeared leading from the lake's shore into the forest. Elara followed the moonlit trail, her heart full of excitement and hope. The path led her to a hidden grove deep within the forest. In the center of the grove stood an ancient tree with leaves that shimmered like silver. At the base of the tree was a small, glowing box. Elara approached the box and carefully opened it, revealing a beautiful golden key. Just then, a gentle voice spoke from the shadows. "You have found the key to the heart of Eldoria's magic. But to unlock its power, you must solve a riddle." From behind the tree stepped a wise old fox with fur as white as snow. The fox explained, "To reveal the magic, you must answer this riddle. I am taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I?" Elara thought for a moment. She remembered that her village used a special material for writing and drawing. With a bright smile, she answered, "A pencil." The fox nodded approvingly. "You are correct. Now, use the key to open the box beneath the tree." Elara used the golden key to unlock a hidden compartment at the base of the tree. Inside, she found a small, glowing crystal. The fox explained, "This is the Heartstone of Eldoria. It contains the magic of the land. Take it back to the lake, and it will reveal the joy and hope you seek." Elara hurried back to Starry Lake, the crystal in hand. As she approached the shore, the lake's surface began to shimmer and glow even more brightly. The lake's magic enveloped Elara, and she felt a warm, comforting energy. Mirabella appeared beside her and said, "You have restored the Heartstone to its rightful place. The magic of the lake now flows through Eldoria, bringing joy and hope to all who visit." Elara smiled with satisfaction. She thanked Mirabella and the lake for granting her wish. From that day on, Starry Lake shone even more brightly, and Eldoria prospered with newfound happiness and hope. The villagers were filled with gratitude, and Elara was celebrated as the girl who unlocked the true magic of their land. And so, the legend of Starry Lake continued to inspire all who heard it, reminding them that the greatest magic comes from a heart full of kindness and hope. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Eldoria, nestled between majestic mountains and lush valleys, there was an enchanted lake called Luminera. This lake was unlike any other, for it glowed with a radiant light that changed colors with the passing of each hour. The people of Eldoria believed that the lake's magic came from a mystical crystal hidden deep beneath its shimmering waters. the kingdom thrived under the blessing of the lake, enjoying bountiful harvests and harmonious weather. However, one fateful day, the lake's light began to fade. The crops withered, the rivers ran dry, and the skies turned gray. The people of Eldoria were filled with despair, fearing that their beloved lake was losing its magic. King Cedric, a wise and compassionate ruler, knew that something had to be done. He called upon the bravest and most noble individuals in the kingdom, promising great rewards to anyone who could restore the lake's magic. Among those who answered the call was a young girl named Elara. She was not of noble birth, but her heart was pure, and her spirit was unyielding. Elara had grown up listening to stories about the enchanted lake and had always dreamed of exploring its depths. "Your Majesty," Elara said, kneeling before King Cedric, "I will find the source of the lake's magic and restore it to its former glory." The king, seeing the determination in her eyes, nodded. "Elara, your bravery and kindness are what this kingdom needs. Take this amulet, it will protect you on your journey. May the spirits of Eldoria guide you." With the amulet around her neck, Elara set off on her quest. She traveled through dense forests, crossed wide rivers, and climbed steep hills. Along the way, she encountered a friendly fox named Lyric, who offered to accompany her. "Hello, Elara," Lyric said with a playful grin. "I know the lands well and can help you navigate the treacherous paths to Luminera." Grateful for the companionship, Elara and Lyric continued their journey together. They soon arrived at the edge of the Whispering Woods, a place filled with ancient trees and magical creatures. There, they met a wise old owl named Orion, who perched high in the branches. "Greetings, travelers," Orion hooted softly. "I see you seek to restore the magic of Luminera. To proceed, you must solve my riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Elara thought for a moment before answering, "An echo." Orion nodded approvingly and revealed a hidden path through the forest. "Follow this path to the Cavern of Echoes, where you will find the Guardian of the Crystal." Elara and Lyric followed the path, arriving at the entrance of a cavern that glimmered with crystals. Inside, they encountered a majestic stag named Loomis, the Guardian of the Crystal. "Brave Elara," Loomis said in a deep, resonant voice, "to restore the magic of Luminera, you must prove your courage and purity of heart. The crystal lies within the depths of this cavern, but it is guarded by shadows of doubt and fear. Only the pure of heart can retrieve it." With unwavering determination, Elara and Lyric ventured into the heart of the cavern. The shadows seemed to come alive, whispering doubts and fears into Elara's mind. But she remembered King Cedric's words and the hope of her people, and she pressed on, her heart filled with courage. Finally, they reached the chamber where the crystal lay, glowing faintly. Elara approached it and placed her hand on its surface. The crystal began to pulse with light, growing brighter with each beat of her heart. The shadows receded, and the cavern was filled with a radiant light. With the crystal in hand, Elara and Lyric made their way back to Luminera. As they approached the lake, the crystal's light grew even brighter, illuminating the water with a kaleidoscope of colors. Elara placed the crystal in the heart of the lake, and its magic was instantly restored. The lake's radiant light returned, and the kingdom of Eldoria flourished once more. King Cedric and the people of Eldoria rejoiced at the return of their beloved lake's magic. Elara was celebrated as a hero, and the tale of her bravery spread throughout the land. The enchanted lake continued to glow, a symbol of hope and the enduring power of a pure heart. From that day forward, Eldoria thrived under the blessing of Luminera, and Elara's story was passed down through generations, inspiring all who heard it. And so, the kingdom of Eldoria lived in peace and prosperity, forever grateful to the brave girl who restored the magic of the enchanted lake. The end.